7, The Pulse.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the very long-named Civil Oval at East Geelong, and we'll have a man who'll explain all that to us very, very shortly. This is a game that I have been looking forward to quite a lot. It's our first viewing of the East Geelong side for the year, and they have been humming along beautifully. We've seen Werribee quite a bit. We know how good they are. They had an incredible after the siren victory last week. So we're looking forward to seeing both these outings. It's a dull, horrible, overcast, cold, miserable day. The cricket pitch in the centre of the ground is not at its absolute best, but otherwise things should be good. Team fully assembled. Good afternoon, Grubbycations.
G'day, boys. How are we? What a great day for footy. This is what footy's all about. Cold, bit of mud in the guts, bit of wind. That's how we play. You don't seem to get a lot of these games, but rub a bit of mud in someone's face. That's how you play the game.
And a man who played at a particularly high level on a few occasions, Dale Smith, good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, and as we said, looking forward to this afternoon. We just don't want any more rain during the course of the day, and I reckon we might stay dry and might get that cold, but hopefully not.
Now, Grubby, you've been doing your normal job of wandering through the crowd, talking to anyone who's silly enough to listen to you. You found a guest.
I found a guest, yeah. And I tell you what, you talk about Smitty being a good footballer. This bloke at full forward was a absolute superstar. And we welcome to the box, Sean, president of the East Geelong Footy Club, Sean O'Leary. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, Grubby. Thanks for the intro. A bit too much there, I think. But, mate, good to be here. And as you boys said, really, really looking forward to today. And fantastic footy weather. A big day for the club.
Mate, were you a better player than Mick?
I know I can't be biased because he's my brother, but I reckon he's one of the best players we've had here. So no,
well, I'll tell you what,
a fair way off different players, but he was before injury. He was a very good player.
Well, I'll tell you what, you'd be a bebetter umpire because he's cheating his heart out there. No, I'm only joking.
That's the our guys don't like him umpiring because they said he doesn't cheat. So
well, that's actually Woz is the same. So it's good.
I saw Woz out there. He was a good player. He was a good player back in the day.
He was, yeah.
You'd have to remember though, Shorty, you played in a better position than he did. You were a full forward. He's only half-back flanker. Right? One of those old run-of-the-mill blokes.
In the end he was. Yeah, he could play a bit. Before he got injured. He could play after he got injured, but we were lucky enough to play in a flag together in 09.
Yes,
so that was good for us in the club. So
now, to the serious side of it.
Yes.
Last year, I think there was a lot of people, including myself, who didn't think you'd play finals.
Yep.
And you got there. I don't know how you did it, but you got there and went okay. And didn't disgrace yourselves.
Yep.
But since then, you've done what you're supposed to do. You've added a couple of players. This year, some people are saying, I don't know about East, but I've rated East fairly high. I know the start was a hard start, but you seem to be humming along all right. How do you see it at the moment?
Absolutely, Grubby. We obviously Jezza from when he come in 3 years before, but he had 2 years. Geez, we were battling, and he slowly built, and it was a bit of a show up that we made the finals last year, and obviously they had a bit of a crack against Inverleigh. My thoughts with GDFL footy, you get a couple of good on-ballers through and you have 5 or 6 that can run through there, you're going to probably impact most games and be in most games. We've picked up a few midfielders in Mark Hoare.
Yeah, good
I don't
player.
know if you see Mark, so we didn't know much about Mark, but he's a bit of a bull and chases the footy and takes the game on. And so some players through there. His brother Will's been playing good footy through there. Johnny McIntyre, who probably gets unnoticed a little bit.
Yeah.
Really good on his feet. And obviously Ben coming in at level head. He communicates really well. And obviously the boys have really taken to him and what he brings and what he wants to teach them, yeah.
2 players that I've seen, or haven't seen yet, but heard a bit about. Young Lemper.
Yes.
Seems to be playing pretty good footy. And Luke Williams.
Yes, Luke Williams. Yeah, obviously Luke, he obviously got suspended earlier on. Got injured. He needs a bit of continuity, but he's all class. He, I think they normally chuck someone on him straight up to try to settle him, but you'll see today the way he uses the footy and reads the play. Fantastic. And Ryan Lemper, both of them were recruited last year. Ryan's down from Queensland. He's really smart with the footy. Yeah, nice, good fella. Brace the club. Both of them have, and both very good players. Both very good players.
Come on, Cameron, you get all the big money. You going to do any work here?
Yeah, I am here. I'm going to take the tack a little bit away to the club side of it. You talked about being down and out a bit before Jezza arrived. You built that side of it. But what about off the ground? You've got the longest oval name in country footy in Australia.
Osborne Plumbing and Civil Oval, Simon
yes.
and Cal Sheen. So obviously probably Connie rings a bell. That's Connie's young fella.
All right.
If you know Connie. But
Connie's a former Mottawarri cricketer. He's a legend out there.
I didn't know Connie played cricket at Mottawarri. I didn't even know he played cricket. They live straight across there, the Brown House there. Simon played juniors here, and we're lucky to have him at the club. Cal plays netball. So, they're our major sponsor for the year and have the naming rights. And wrapped to have them around the club. And
so that sort of connection off the ground has been really important to keep the club humming along during the lean times?
Absolutely. Obviously, the league and Buckley's obviously play a big part in ticking us along, and which we're really, really thankful for. And obviously our sponsors, we've got a good tight knit of sponsors that continue to chip in and help us out. And for not much return, it's pretty much what sponsors do.
Yeah.
But forever grateful, and look, you need them, and we're very grateful. And every time I get to plug them, absolutely.
And the other thing that a lot of clubs, as we get around the competition, we're finding are being really tested, and that's volunteers to get all those little jobs, the behind-the-scenes jobs, the timekeepers and boundary umpires and goal umpires in junior games, even junior coaches. How are you going in that area?
Okay, better than what we had been. We, it is. I'm tipping every club's in the same boat, but we, Dad still gets into the timekeeper's box. I think I like him up there though, because he can't yell out then. So I think Neville banished him there about 10 years ago, so we've kept him there.
Oh, more
but
than
look,
that.
it might have been. I think the umpire said we've had enough of this little ball.
You talk about cheats. He's been cheating up there for about 15 years.
It would have been good if he cheated in 07 and blow the siren about 30 seconds earlier, and we would have won, which would have been nice. And
I could tell you some stories. He's legendary. Folklore, some of the cheating aspects he's done. I'll tell you one later.
For volunteers, people, if you ask, people are more than happy to help. The junior side of things, we've got managers, we've got coaches. We've really, really worked hard there the last 5 years. I tell the story at the halftime luncheon. I think we currently went from 50 juniors about 5 years ago to over 250 now. So that's amazing. So the initiative from the GDFL with the Auskick, we've seen the flow on from there. And I think along with Bannockburn, we're probably two of the clubs that are going really well with the junior things. So it's really good. Good people in good spots helps the cause.
Did you leave a volunteer out? Like one of the most beautiful people you ever met in GDFL football?
Oh, jeez, I better be careful. My mother-in-law does she does the netball. But look, I as president, I don't know what I'd do without them. So, and it's like all the volunteers. I'm grateful for people contributing. And
at the risk of being belted by Grubby, the netball is a very important part of the club, and you built on a really, really good but injury-riddled 2019.
Yes.
David Boyce brings something a little bit different to the group. I was just talking to Juzzy Radford before.
Yep.
Sides going well. That must be also an important part about what you're trying to achieve.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. My wife's the netball coordinator, so obviously I'm always in the loop with what's going on. Dave and Justine have been fantastic. I think they're undefeated. They've obviously started early today because we've got a ladies' day. So I think the B grade had a win.
Yeah, they did.
They did. So
did D, I think.
Yeah, D grade won. I think the C's just lost. So big day for the club, and they're tracking along nicely. They, as you said, Rob, 2019, they fell away a little bit in the end with injuries. I think they come third, but they're up and about. They've got a really good side, so it'll be interesting to see how they go today. They've got a couple out, but they've got a bit of depth there, so I'm sure they. But obviously, Werribee have been the yardstick, haven't they, for years and years? And
in netball,
it's always a good contest. Yeah.
I saw on the YouTube there. Daryl got hold of you from the local footy show.
Yes.
You could have been a movie star, mate. You come up all right in that,
I copped a fair bit of grief for that at work.
Hey?
Nev got me there, but always happy to help out. It's any chance you can get to promote the club. And
it is good that the local footy show is based in Melbourne that can come down and do this about a 100-odd-year football side.
Absolutely, absolutely. We sort of got roped into it, but as I said, it's always good to promote the club. It come across pretty well, but he cut a fair bit.
Oh, did he?
Yes, absolutely. I didn't tell many people that. But, well, I've just told a lot.
Is that where you give the commentary team a big rap and all that? They got cut, did it?
He's all doing an amazing job, and very grateful.
Sean, the tentacles of footy clubs are quite amazing, and when Jeremy Power probably surprisingly left the club, I guess you had a bit of soul searching for a minute. Tell us the journey to connect with Ben Bosley, who started his footy here.
Correct, yes, correct. I think he started in about the under-12s and left as he was going into under-18s. The family moved out to Belmont, and obviously connected with South Barwon. He obviously had always been on our radar to coach and play. I think when Bales, it probably stemmed back probably 5 or 6 years, maybe when Ricky finished coaching in 2016. We always knew he was a one-pointer, and obviously his background, speaks for itself. He has been amazing. I remember sitting down. Well, Jeremy sort of took us back. Well, I remember sitting on the couch at Michael's, and we sort of thought he'll be right to go again here. And he said, "Look, I don't have the time." But chatting with Ben, we spoke to a couple other guys, but he communicates really well, and he's good with the younger group. And as I said, his record speaks for himself.
I know a few people up at Birregurra, and they were really impressed with how well organised he was, and certainly that ability to communicate to all different types and handle all different circumstances. Up there, I can't train tonight, I've got to milk the cows, that sort of stuff that he dealt with really well.
Yes, I think speaking to Betty when we spoke to him, I think it was a bit more full on. No disrespect to Birregurra, he was pretty much the face of it, and he's come in here, he's had my brother as a footy manager, and he's been able to focus a bit more on the coaching. He didn't complain about doing that. He loved doing it, but he was taken back that we had the people to help and focus a bit more on the footy and recruiting, and obviously be in touch with the players a bit more. But you're right, Rob. He's very, very highly regarded out there, and I think 2 premierships. I think he coached and a losing one, and they're pretty hard to win. And he's coached 2 of them. So
he's got pretty big shoes to fill, because I rated Jeremy Powell one of the most astute coaches in the GDFL. He had a bit to do with interleague and everything before he came. I thought he was going to be a huge loss, but young Ben seems to have filled the void. Yeah,
I think, mate, spot on. Jeremy was absolutely fantastic. From where he bought the group, we've had the point system's amazing. So you just don't have people leaving clubs. So you can sort of work on it. A lot of the guys have seen it from where we've come from and want to finish it. So, and obviously Benny coming in has just topped it off really, really nicely. So
you agree with the point system?
Oh, 100%. Mate, 100%.
Do you think it's getting to the stage where it's evening our competition out there?
100%. It speaks for itself. Oh, yeah. Are you guys of that opinion?
No.
Oh, you're not really?
No,
I'm not.
I don't.
Really, so.
No.
How come? It just...
I just think it might be... It's all right for those players or groups that can be able to attract here. But I'm talking about your Cryos.
Yeah, all right. Yep.
You know, I just find those sides can have as many points as you like.
Well, that was going to be my next question,
And like Anarchy this year, after losing so many, they had to be guaranteed or given some more points to be able to play with to get players in. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist.
Yep.
But I can't see in 5 years' time that are they going to be any better from this point?
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't thought of it that way.
You're looking
as a club,
from
a club, but you make a fantastic point, absolutely.
And I think it's not only our league. I think if you look through the GFL, and I'm not too sure about the Ballerine, but that's a little bit maybe different. But definitely they're looking at the GFL. You've still got your bracket of top, and and that's not closing with that system. That's what I'm.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you make a real valid point. It's I'm speaking in the way of keeping players here. It's worked really well for us. I don't mean to sound selfish, not thinking about the other clubs, but
now your junior program, your junior program
100%,
now.
100%.
But again, you look at Anarchy, what their junior program has gone to now. I don't think they've got that many now, and they're not likely to get it because of where they're situated.
But is there another system?
I don't know.
That you can bring in that's better than a point system to close it all in. And the answer to that is no. But I think what they've got to do is probably run it a bit better. Now, I know I'm being biased here, but Werribee were down for a long time. They make the finals once and get dropped to 40 points.
Yep.
Belpo still win 10 out of 20. And because they had one bad year, they're 42. Ball dust. It doesn't work that way.
Do you need to look at your junior structures and make sure people are working hard there?
They do. You're right.
And maybe...
So that's where Belpo still have had that advantage, because if you... Let's go take yourself back 10 years, Sean, when you're prime and all that sort of stuff, and you weren't having success here, and you said, where am I going to go? I want to play and finish my football and play in finals. Belpo still was one of those teams you think, shit, I'm going to go up there because I know I'll play finals football.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I did. It'll beat button.
Robert's on it.
But I'm just saying, that's where it was easy for them to be able to roll on.
Yes.
No junior program.
Yep.
Eventually, it'll come back and bite them, because they've got most of those blokes back now, and they're back at a level where they can play. But if you said to me, all right, let's drop the point system, and for Corio next year, they went out and got 6 blokes from, say, one of the best competitions and brought them all in,
Yep.
they would be one of the only clubs with their point system would probably be able to get them into that thingo. But and that's to level them up, mate. But they need to get 6 and then another 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think with the don't ask me too many questions on it, but I think the one gripe Michael has with it, we've got a lot of young kids that have come from GFL reserves football.
Yep.
And I think they're a pretty high point.
Yep.
Don't take me word on it.
No,
so
they
maybe,
are. They are.
Maybe that could be tinkered a little bit
I
because
think so.
obviously
Difference
you're playing
between-
GFL reserves
yes.
footy and you're
Even
having an
under
impact.
18
You could
football, the
absolutely,
kids as well.
Well, you can absolutely have an impact here, and maybe something like that needs to be tinkered a little bit. But yeah, you make me think. It was a good question. It's obviously you're focused sort of on your own club, but
well, that's what you've done.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah. It's, but yeah, it's a very, very valid point.
Well, I'll tell you what,
absolutely.
Smitty doesn't normally sit on interviews. When you do, you can't shut him up. Sean, he's got stuff to do, don't
mate, this gets warm in here, so I'm laughing. So it's our ladies' day over there. So,
Sean, I've seen a successful method in South Australia when I first saw the points before they were introduced here. And the method they have is
Look at that.
the competition gets a certain number of points and the league then distributes them to the club. So if Anarchy need more, Werribee have to give them up, or Inverleigh have to give them up. So they have a floating way that way.
Works.
Well, that might not work here because we heard that 3 weeks ago Colac sent out a side with 27 points. They're the best side in the region, and they're going out at 27 points because they've got all these homegrown kids. So you could probably take 10 off them, and they're still going to feel a pretty good side.
Well, all credit to them, but I suppose it's sort of different, isn't it? Obviously, the demographic they're in out there, they're not probably going to come in and play, but all credit to them. And look, you make a good point with the extra points. Obviously, I don't like losing, but you want to see competitive games of footy.
I think it's probably the only way to do it, and a lot of clubs won't like it, having to give up. But if the clubs are genuinely serious about evening the comp, then there's got to be give and take.
Yep, which improves the standard of footy.
But you're trying to. That's fair enough. But again, my point is, you're a level playing field. This is a level playing field. Why should you hand an advantage to Werribee next year to win a flag? And players all work out the following year and all that sort of stuff. I understand when you've got a level playing field and you're trying to even the competition and you're trying to keep teams around when other people from outside are trying to get rid of some of them so that you've got a better cluster of players. I just don't know where it's going to stop and where it's going to end.
It's a good
so
debate.
why do they have a point system?
Well, I don't know why.
I'll tell you why. Because they have a salary cap which everyone cheats against, and you can't stop it. You can't cheat the point system, but you can cheat the salary cap. So the salary cap's not good enough by itself because people cheat it. I can name 5 or 6
Well, hopefully we're right. I have to sign off on it, so it's we're right. But
I'm just talking not now.
Yeah,
I don't know now, but I'm talking over the years when you see a few of these blokes bob up and you think, cut it out, you cheating mongrel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a hard one.
But you can't cheat on the point system. What you are is what you are.
Anyway, it's a good debate for another day, and I think at some stage during the year we're going to spend some time on a Saturday morning, get some people in from different facets. But when you've got sides like, Torquay field 2 under-19 sides in the competition where 3 clubs don't even have one, it wouldn't matter how you did point system. You can't. That's not a level playing field, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just the circumstances.
Of the town.
My thoughts there with the junior footy, I think it should be capped on players you can have, and which spreads them out. I don't think sides need to be having 4 or 5 teams. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, so I think South Barwon were that case a couple of years back.
And
I think Grovedale may have had a lot of junior sides as well. But I think
South
Barwon, and even I think St Mary's might have had numbers. But see, what St Mary's did too, they not on the same rorted the system, but they went out and got a lot of kids at under 16 and under 18 level. So when they got their 50 games up, they were ready to play senior footy, and they all won.
They were notorious for recruiting 13-year-olds.
You ask Ray Sarcevic about that, and he'll give you an opinion on that as well.
United,
They pick up 3-year-olds.
Well, exactly right. Yeah.
Sean, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on what your club has done, and it's a delight to be at the Oswest Plumbing and Civil Oval.
Oswide,
sorry. Yeah, that's better. My eyes failed. Very good to be here. We are genuinely excited about seeing you up against one of the top 3 because I just reckon there's enough opportunity the way the competition's even out. I reckon a spot might open up in the top 3 if you or Belpo still are good enough.
Well, I'm tipping an Inverleigh East Geelong grand final. There you go.
Mate, you just gave me shivers then. You put the pressure on us. That's, mate, I appreciate that. They've been working hard.
I'm not tipping it, but it can happen.
Can happen, definitely.
It's, it's good that there's 4 or 5 sides that can be there. That's good for the comp. So.
Good to see you, mate. See you in the rooms after the game. Robert, we'll go back to you in the studio, have a quick little break, and then we'll come back and dissect very quickly this round of GDFL footy.
Are you looking for The first quarter, brought to you by Common Defane Hotel.
Welcome back to the Oz-wide Plumbing and Civil Oval at East Geelong. Big match this afternoon. Gentlemen, we haven't got much time, so almost a one-word answer to the other games before we dissect this one. Time taken up by a very interesting and enjoyable interview with East Geelong President Sean O'Leary. Grubby, Belpost Hill are playing the Belmont Lions today.
Oh, where's that? You've gone down to the middle somewhere, have you?
No, I'm at the top.
Oh, no. Well, it's not in the right order, but Belpost Hill.
Dale, you happy enough with that?
Belpost Hill, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, I think Belpost Hill will win. We saw them last week. Weren't too bad, and will win.
Based on the last quarter they played, this game at Corio between Corio and Bannockburn's going to be pretty even. Bannockburn conceding 8-1 against Inverleigh, but they should bounce back, gentlemen.
Bannockburn will bounce back, mate. There's no doubt about that. Shelley's out of the side. He's been kicking a few of their goals and providing an option up forward, so a big job without him.
Percentage in the top three is going to could be a big difference at the end. They need some today, Bannockburn, and they will get it.
Yeah, they're 60% behind the two sides below them, which is quite extraordinary, so they'll be definitely looking for these. Gentlemen, there was a period of 5 games where Geelong West played Winchelsea and the biggest margin was something like 3 points. Another big game expected, or is West just a little bit better this year?
Well, I'm not so sure. I've seen West. Well, I saw West against Corio. They weren't that great. Apparently, they weren't too great against Anarchy. And Winch have got their players back and showed they were back on board. I'm going to tip West, but I think Winch. If it was that Winch, I'd go for Winch. There you go. But it's not, so I'll go for West.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think the home ground at West will favour them, so I'm going to tip them by just a small margin.
A few weeks ago, we might have been excited about Inverleigh hosting North Geelong, but the Magpies have faded very, very sadly, and Inverleigh are humming. This one could be a little ugly.
Well,
I think. Go on, Grub. Sorry.
You're right.
No, I think it will be. Just look at the ins and outs for both sides, and there's a lot of quality going out. But there's some good players coming into that side. But yeah, Inverleigh just going nicely, mate, and I think they'll win again. Yeah,
look, North to me are probably the most disappointing side. I thought they were better than that. And matter of fact, I know they are better than that. I think that at 3 and 5, they're just about gone for the final 5. So what George has got to do, they've got to make sure that he concentrates now to the end of the year to play that good footy that they play for 4 quarters, not 1 or 2.5. And if you can get them to do it, go into next year with a lot of confidence. But no, Inverleigh today, pretty comfortably.
And Thompson desperately need to win and also improve their very poor percentage of 94 up against Anarchy, who are just continuing to give a bit of cheek.
They're giving a lot of cheek, but I think today Thompson will really set things alight out there, and I think this will be a real margin by the end of the day.
Oh, sorry, Thompson's percentage is 99,
yes.
Not 94. He's improved a little bit.
At 4 and 4, they're not out of the race. They need percentage. They need a win, of course, today, which they will get. The thing I like is when we saw them early in the piece, their good players weren't playing that well, but the last couple of weeks, Westwood, John O'Casey, Hodgson, Maguire, they're all playing a lot better. And that means that they're getting better. They'll win today. Fenevesi's been great all year, by the way. They'll win today. They've got to win their next couple. They're not out of the hunt, but they really can't afford to drop one.
Okay, now we need a winner here at East Geelong. A ripper game. How do you see it opening up, Grubby?
Look, I was a bit disappointed in Werribee Central's last week. I think had they been at their best when they got in front of Belpost Hill, they would have and should have run away with the game. But they were completely outplayed in the third quarter, and with Belpost Hill kicking 2 goals 8, almost kicked themselves out of the game. And then halfway through the last quarter, I thought Werribee were gone. But a little bit of bad luck. The bloke kicked it off the ground, landed in Boydie's arms. He's the one you want it to land in. And they were able to kick a goal after the siren. I didn't think they played that well. They've got players out who are not coming back, so they've got to adapt. They've still got a few to come in. Look, East Geelong, well, we don't need to say much about East Geelong because Shawnee O'Leary's just said it about 5-10 minutes ago. And they're travelling really well. Obviously, with the heart, I've got to go for Werribee Centrals. I've got no other choice. But I'll tell you what, I think East Geelong might knock them off here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that because I think they've been producing some really good stuff. And I like the way that their year has been just an incremental improvement each game. They've played better and better. They've been really close to the other 2 sides in the top 3. And I think this could be their breakout match. How about you, Dale?
Look, I would just think the home ground here would suit them. Again, nothing against the way we've been going, but I think it'll be a close game. But I think Renice might nudge themselves ahead right at the end.
Well, there you go. There you have it. It's Werribee reluctantly from Grubby, confidently from Dale, and hopefully from me. So it's going to be an even game. We know that. Let's hope it plays out that day. We had a ripper last week. I'd love to see another finish like that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. No. Now, 5 or 6 goals either way would do me after last week. But I wonder, the old system was in football, and I know football's changed a hell of a lot, but the old system was if you play well in the twos, you get promoted. Well, let's just see if that system is still going, because I just witnessed a display out there by the Werribee Central's ruckman. It was unbelievably perfect display from Big Brad Newriff. Now, I know he's struggling to run a bit, and he's getting a bit old, but on that performance, he's earned himself a spot in the side next week. And it wasn't against some kid from East Geelong. It was against Benny Bolton, who's been one of the best ruckmen in the last 10 years. So let's just see if the system appeases. Because I don't reckon they'll pick him next week, but they bloody well should.
Well, when they've got Nathan Johnson coming back to support Paddy Daly, is there a spot for him?
Well, yeah, they change off the bench and Johnson stays a full forward all day and tries to kick 5 or 6. When he's not playing, I think Johnson, his big thing is to go and... like last week we saw when Paddy went out of the ruck, and the big Carter boy was in there, they killed them in the ruck. And most sides are like that. But you do need 2 ruckmen, because the advantage you get with a good ruckman out of the centre, at the moment, the games I've seen, it's vital.
We have been talking a lot about that. We've enjoyed the clashes we've seen so far. Paddy Daly's improvement in my eyes, I thought he was really good last week after being raw and rugged in the early games. Tim McLennan, I've not seen him live yet, but I keep reading about him. You guys have. Do you rate him the best ruckman in the comp at the moment?
I wouldn't say the best ruckman, but he's played some really good games here when we've played and seen him play. So I'm not doubting his ability. Again, he's got to have that backup situation. So there's a fair bit of size that runs the East Geelong boys. As I said, they're not massive, but I'm just saying, you look at McLennan, who does the ruck work, and he does tower above the rest of them. So I'm not too sure who he has got in support. And if he hasn't got that support, that's where the advantage will come to Werribee, because they've got a couple of blokes there that can go in and be equally as good inside the centre square.
Well, we haven't seen East since about 2009.
Yeah.
Right, and the last time I seen him, especially out here, I know we saw him one game in the finals, and I can't really remember it, but we saw him out here one day, McLennan, and he won the ruck against a pretty good player. Might have been against Inverleigh, against Jimmy. And he played really well, and that was a shock to us. So at that point in time, I rated McLennan about the 7th best ruckman in the comp. Right? How far he's come now, I won't know till we see him today, because I've never rated him at all as a great ruckman. I've rated him as a really good battling player who wasn't quite tall enough to beat the big blokes. So we'll see today against Paddy Daly if he has improved, or as if his old man or his best mates putting him in the best players each week. And that happens in clubs. Don't worry about that. We'll see today.
It's interesting here with Johnson and Ball still both going to the bench, mate, as marking options as well.
Yeah, I spoke to Ben Bosley about him this morning. He was surprised and pleasantly surprised how good he's been this year and how much advantage he's given them. So I'm looking forward to see how he go against a raw but quickly learning Daly.
Well, yeah, his performance last week was very... Matter of fact, his whole year's been pretty good.
Yeah.
They reckon he might have just got shaded against Jarvis and Thompson, and that's no shame, because he's probably the best ruckman in the comp. So,
all right, we're in the centre of the ground. It's a good old-fashioned centre. The turf wicket here at Richmond Crescent has glued up a little bit, so the ball's going to be thrown up to the side of it. But there will be some black, ugly mud on blokes pretty quickly. They're working through the middle of the ground. But
who plays cricket here, Rob?
Geelong City.
Geelong City, okay.
Very, very famous, probably one of the oldest clubs in Geelong. Dale Smith, get us going. First quarter, it is the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
So Ruckman at the ball now in the middle of the ground. Daly had his hand on it, but again couldn't take clean possession. It's kicked through the mud heap, coming off the wing, picked up and kicked forward by Leonard. Leonard goes towards their half-forward line. There's a free kick for an infringement, which is high, and the free kick is going to go to Gear. So Gear now will look to swap. He's going to transfer play across the ground. Now he's put himself under a little bit of pressure. He's put his team under pressure as Boyd comes in, intercepts the ball, keeps it in front of himself, got a handball back into the hands of
Sutton.
Sutton it was, yes, and he goes forward. The kick was off line, and the mark has been taken out there, and Williams from the half-back line is going to transfer a bit of play. Their first option looks to go sideways. He goes to Rich, and he takes the mark. Still inside defensive 50, another short option. Mark is again taken, this time by Mass. Massey, and he has now got the ball. Still now goes towards centre wing. Kick didn't have the distance on it. Ends up in the hands. Was tapped back by Daly. Picked up by Miller. Got the handball away, but again intercepted. The handball goes back into the middle of the ground. It looks like Hoare that runs onto it. Went one way and then didn't have the option, or he had an option to kick, but got out of the tackle. Kicked into the forward line, and Bosley goes across. Mark not paid by the umpire.
The arms. It should have been.
And it's going to be a ball up to take place. The umpire will let it go. He sits around the outside, still waits. Now he says there's going to be a free kick. No, he's let it go even further. Ball comes out. Again, a handball goes out to Hoare, or gave it away, and it goes towards Lowe. He kicks back into the forward line, and the mark has been taken out there, this time by Sablich. So Sablich, he goes back club rim side of the ground and kicks to the back pocket. Mark is taken out there. They're going to keep running now. Brown decides to go. He goes long towards centre wing. Kicks okay, but it was intercepted, and the mark has been turned over there by Belitho. So Belitho
like I always say, Smitty, they keep the ball in there too long. There's a bloke hurt.
Yep. So the ball now transfers back inside. This is the bloke they talk about, Luke Williams. He's travelled the full length of the ground, got to the half-forward line, kicks into the forward line. Mark is not taken out there. Good spoil, picked up. Alush couldn't take it cleanly. Again, they apply the pressure, and it's by McGrath. And the umpire will come in this time quickly and take possession of the ball.
Who is that bloke? 23, Smitty?
23 is Noel's son.
Fanning. Well, he's been their best player for the last couple of weeks, so let's hope he's okay.
Yeah, Jaden Fanning.
Punched over the top there for East Geelong. Cleared and kicked into the centre of the goal square. It's young Menzies who comes out very, very cleverly. It kicks across his body, but it lands in the square. Just didn't quite get through with holding up in the wind. But just on first outing there, young Menzies clearly has a fair bit of talent. He looked very slick in that little situation. That's the first score of the game. 1 point against the wind. East Geelong in the lead.
Now, let me just say before you keep going, Werribee Centrals have won the toss and kicked with what I believe is a 5-goal win. And in all the games so far, all the goals have been kicked down there. And I think they need to kick 4 or 5 to pretty much nothing just to break even in this first quarter.
So it's a Lush from Werribee. Kicks it long, taking advantage of that
don't
wind.
do.
And it carries it down to the middle of the ground. Carlton comes in, has the ball punched away from him. Sablich kicks quickly forward for the Werribee side. It's just going past the glue pot. East Geelong take a relieving mark. Gets it across to Rich. He kicks down the line looking for and finding, but it beats the outstretched arms of O'Connell. His opponent comes in, grabs the ball, and very cleverly, under great pressure, that's Linehan Cunningham, cleverly gets it over the boundary line. And there will be a stoppage now right in front of the cricket nets here at the East Geelong Oval, the Oswide Plumbing and Civil Oval. Daly gets it down very neatly to Carlton. He quickly kicks forward, but intercepting for East Geelong is Maas. He quickly plays across, kicks it right into the wet centre of the ground, and that is Luke Williams, who's been very, very busy already for the home side. His short kick goes out and finds Carter. Carter for East Geelong, another little neat left foot kick there, using this short kicking game to go into the wind, and so far it's been holding them in very good stead. Maas this time kicks into the man on the mark, which is Yates. Yates tries to butter up, can't get it away from his opponent. Does a very good job here. The ball's been held in. Umpire again lets it go. Quick hand pass comes out. East Geelong running forward again. Hand passed across to Carter, but they can't get clear. Knocked over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in on the clubroom side of the ground. We're commentating from the outer side of the ground, the northern end, if you like. It's across on the southern wing.
So the ball thrown back into the field of play again. Ruckman go at it, back towards the boundary line, and Crennan got the handball away to Carlton. Carlton goes inside, found Boyd. Was going to give the handball. Better option was to kick, and that's what he does now. He goes long into the forward line. Marcus not taken down there. Taylor can't pick up the ball cleanly, so the defence is working nicely. Get the ball from their defensive end, and they now travel the ball towards the half-back line. Kick towards centre wing. Again, said his teammate a bit of a task, but the ball will go over the boundary line, so it works out okay.
Look, East Geelong are playing the game you're supposed to play against the wind, short game. Werribee just kicking the crap out of it anywhere. And what's the use? Because your tall blokes down forward, they've got Sutton, and you, as you said, your two tall ball are on the bench to put them up when they're against the wind.
So the ball now comes out of the contest, picked up out there. O'Connell got the handball away, or tried to get the handball away. Carlton sits over the top of the ball now. Umpire circles. No prior opportunity there.
Well, he took 3 steps. He took 3 steps before he got caught. So, to me, there was prior opportunity.
Ball thrown back over the top. Again, Crennan working underneath the contest. Tries to get the ball out. Again, that's not going to come out of there quickly. Umpire again does the right thing. He'll come in back in and take possession of the ball. Tyler Quillen's been good for the Werribee side over the last couple of weeks. This time the ball comes out, picked up by Prismal, got the handball away, ends up in the hands of Leonard now on the left boot, goes along the boundary line. Sutton in best position, got to be paid the mark and or free kick, doesn't matter, and he will be rewarded that way. So a chance now to go back and kick the ball deep into their forward line, tries to centre the ball up. Boyd uses the body well, takes the mark and will go back and shoot for goal.
I like that because he actually had his hands up and he did use the body. Remember we were talking about this last week about hands? That was good use of the body. There's a blood rule here somewhere. Number 16.
Harris Monaghan heading off the ground. Must have had a bit of trickle of blood from somewhere. So
he can't kick it. He's not allowed to kick it.
Well, I think the umpire's going to let him.
No, he can't. You've got to replace the bloke who's gone off with the blood rule.
If he's going to kick for goal, though, he's going to make the distance. So.
What if he doesn't?
Oh, well,
they're one short.
Yeah,
no, he can't. He's got to. And he is waiting. Look, that's good umpiring, son.
Yep.
Darren Gahan, is it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Anyway, it's Boyd. Kicked the winning goal after the siren last week. Has a chance to kick the first for Werribee here this afternoon. Stepped up. The kick's not good this time. It will make the distance. No, it won't. It would be forced over the boundary line.
If he did that last week, we would have had a draw.
Oh, dear. What'd you say before the game? If your mother had a moustache, she'd be your father?
So the ball thrown back into the forward line again. Ruckman this time. It's tapped down back towards the goal square. Now Waddy gets the handball away. It's okay at this stage. They go back towards the goal square and they're going to be prepared to take it through for a minor score. So it is a second behind to the Werribee side.
Rich brings the ball out of defence for the East Geelong side and a very good mark by Lowe on the wing. Outstretched hands over Leonard. He kicks into the middle of the ground. A high-risk kick indeed, but it might still come off all right for the side. O'Connell gets it. Hand pass across to McLennan. He very neatly kicks it further forward, and McGrath takes a mark for East Geelong. His low pass into the forward line, punched away by Linehan Cunningham. Very good defensive effort coming out there, quickly trying to get the ball away for Werribee is Quarrier. He gets it back into the middle of the ground, but there's a wall of East Geelong players. McLennan gets it, but kicks it straight to Leonard. Didn't quite get off the boot right. So Leonard now kicks low into the forward line and kick. Coming out, taking the mark is Blake Taylor. He neatly kicks down and finds Prismal running down the centre of the ground. And the experienced left footer might fancy himself to kick the distance. I think he's got to kick it more than 50 metres. But he's going back with a great deal of authority.
At least they've gone in the right way. A pass here, a pass there, pick a bloke out, not kick the hell out of it and hope for the best. So they've actually worked that out.
So it's Reece Prismal will kick from just outside 50. He's got under it. It is long. It is very, very long, and it's very straight, and that is a magnificent goal. That's definitely using the wind to advantage. And the co-coach of the Werribee side, Reece Prismal, brings up the first major. 1 goal, 1. East Geelong 1 point. And we are 9 minutes into the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter here at East Geelong.
Well, when he took the mark and went back, I think all three of us in there said, geez, a long way out, this could be iffy. But just his body language suggested he's going to kick that. And he did exactly that. But as I say, they went in the right way. They just didn't get it and kick it with the wind 50 metres up, straight up in the air to an East Geelong player. They went in the right way. But East Geelong, they're still going the right way about it, but a couple of times there, those little passes just didn't come off. Maybe the wind stopped it or they just didn't come off. When you do that, when they don't come off, it gives the opposition, when they've got a strong wind, every opportunity to go in and be very, very dangerous. But you've got to keep playing like that. But I thought that's Werribee's first goal, and by geez, they needed it because, as I said, I reckon they need 4 or 5 just to break even in this quarter.
I think the length of that kick confirmed the 4 to 5 goal advantage.
Oh, my word, it did.
And he's got onto it pretty well. He's kicked the wind out of that ball. The umpire's thrown that ball away, and they've called for a new one.
Well, there you go.
So it's gone flat already.
Either that or KO's pinched it.
So the ball is thrown back up in the middle of the ground. Daly went early, got the ball down though. Again in the middle, he picks it up, has another go and kicks it forward, goes into the half-forward line. Massey comes across, he tries to pick the ball up, he's got support, looks for the handball back inside, will need to use it and does so now. And again, this time through Williams, across the half-back line, kick wasn't good, went out towards looking for Rich, picked up though by Sutton of Werribee. He looks back inside, that was a little half chance there for Boyd, but he couldn't pick the ball up. So again, this time it's through East Geelong from the half-back line. They deliver the ball back towards centre wing, it is blowing back towards the boundary line. It's going to stay in the field of play. Quarrier couldn't take it cleanly. Coming through this time was Jacobs it was, got the handball away, and again they go back into the middle of the ground, dangerous. The kick was okay. They work from that position now, and it's O'Connell who kicks the ball into the forward line again. Lush chipping across in front of Bosley, takes the mark, and is now called to play on by the umpire. He goes out wide towards centre wing. Mark over the top, and it will taken this time by McIntyre. So McIntyre, a little chip along the boundary line. Okay again. They keep possession of the ball. And McGrath goes back inside again, a bit too much on the kick, so it gets through. Crennan couldn't take it cleanly. Kicked off the ground. Players running onto the ball this time is Lemper. He couldn't take it cleanly, was tackled. Ball comes out. Good tackle of Lush, and the umpire says play on. Harburger from the half-back line goes back inside. And Miles put his hand up, didn't take the mark, picked up by Sutton, got the handball over the top. Again, favoured his teammate there, and they run into the forward line. That was Taylor. Kick was back into the middle of the ground. Unfortunately, the player went back to the boundary line. Boydo comes in. Can he trap it inside? He can. Got the handball. Needs to go back and collect it. Got in and out of trouble. Tried to kick the ball. Missed it. And from defence, Massey now has the ball, and he will transfer play or run the ball along the boundary line. And kick towards Daly. Had good carry on it. The mark has been taken out there by Menzies.
3 goes at it, and he's done 3 very clever things, the young fella.
So Menzies now from just the defensive side of centre wings. Not too sure where he wants to go, so he goes along the boundary line. Set his teammate a target, but he's good at doing that, and he's taken the mark. So again, O'Connell. He looks further afield. And the kick, a little bit too much weight on it for Bosley. It's tapped away from him. Ends up in the hands of Menzies. Got the handball over the top. And again, through McIntyre. They run in and out of trouble and go long into the forward line. Again, the numbers are one-on-one contest. Good mark out there. And it's taken by Hoare. This is William. And he's going to go back and have a shot for goal. About 25 out. Almost directly in front.
He just read it better and got himself in the best position to take the mark. But I can tell you now, if Paddy Daly's going to be any good, he can't let little blokes like him just muscle him out of the ball. He's got to... I know he's a bit skinny in that at the moment, but big blokes have got some strength. He needs to learn not to get that muscle out of the
So Hoare, that is a nice kick off the boot, and that has gone straight back over the umpire's head. So that will tie things up once again. It's 1 goal, 1 apiece here as we tick towards 13 minutes first quarter. Commonwealth Hotel first quarter scoreboard.
Well, it looks like Nick Ball is on the ground. Have they got him up on a wing?
Yeah, the other wing.
With the wind?
Yeah, and Johnson's actually in the goal square. They both come on together about 4 or 5 minutes ago.
Okay, well, that might have been a little bit low. I think with the wind, I would have started them there and maybe put them on the bench against the wind when they might not be so prevalent. But that was a really, really good bit of play. Good muscling out by the fella here. And then Hoare, as I said, just didn't push him out or anything. Just manoeuvred him with his body, read the ball beautifully and took a great mark and kicked a beautiful straight goal against a good, strong Bruce.
McLennan goes up higher, but it's Daly who gets the ball down, taps it into the path of Crennan. He can't quite get possessions. Kicked off the ground by Yates. Yates very cleverly traps it. He's tackled very quickly. His hand pass bobbles out. Ball comes forward for East Geelong and marked by Carter. Carter kicks down into the forward line. He's looking for O'Connell. Very clever by Alouche to work him out of the way. O'Connell's grabbed hold of the jumper, and Alouche will take a free kick on the half-back flank for the Werribee side. He kicks into the middle of the ground. Young Menzies gets a hand to it, knocks it out of the path of his opponent there. Coming on the ball is Quarrier. Gets it away quickly, but the ball has landed right in the arms of Sam Lowe of East Geelong. He kicks it into the glue pot in the middle of the ground, finds McLennan. Very quick hand pass across to Luke Williams. He kicks long into the forward line looking for Bosley. He's collected a pack of players. Tries to almost take a one-hander. The ball's dragged down and the umpire will have to ball it up with Ben Bosley, the captain coach of the East Geelong side, on the ground underneath all that. Geez, I've been impressed with young Menzies, Grub. He's had 5 touches and he's done the right thing with every one of them. He's a very good young fella. Daly taps the ball out, but intercepted by Mars, but Werribee grabbed the ball, kick it straight up in the air. Umpire deems that's gone 15 metres, and it's marked by Yates. The big left footer wheels around very quickly, kicks it down the line. Luke Williams comes over the back of the pack and looks for the safety of the boundary line in front of the East Geelong coach's box, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. Scores level. We're more than halfway into the first quarter, kicking with a 5-goal breeze. The local side are humming really well at the moment. It's Daly double fisted over the back of the pack. The umpire's blown the whistle, and he's found a free kick. And it's going to Tim McLennan, the ruckman for East Geelong. Daly must have infringed in that rucking contest. McLennan kicks the ball low along the boundary line. He's looking for Menzies, and he marks very cleverly in front of his opponent despite a bit of pressure. Menzies again kicks beautifully, long and low, looking for Bosley, but over the back of the pack taking a a very strong mark for Werribee is Sam Brown. Played well last week, continuing on this week. Kicks down the line, punched over the back of the pack, bursting through there for the East Geelong side is Lemper. Can't break free, and the umpire has come in, found a free kick, and it's going to go to De Leon.
He's a late inclusion.
Fella
Pettit.
kicks down the line, punched over the back by Luke Williams. He's had a really, really good game so far. Nawadi from East Geelong picks it up, kicks low down the line, looking for O'Connell, I think it is. He finds him. No, it's
McGrath.
Not as McGrath. McGrath kicks long, but intercepting very well for the Werribee side is Quarrier. Quarrier's got the ball. A neat little kick. Finds his teammate there is Boyd. Boyd grabs it, kicks it long down the centre of the ground, looking for Leonard. Leonard gets two hands to it, can't quite hang on to the ball. Coming through very quickly is Mars. Mars hand passes away. Carlton and Miller going in for Werribee. Can't get the ball. Grabbed by young Monaghan from East Geelong. He's dragged to the ground and will have a ball up almost on the 50-metre line. Werribee slightly in attack. Scores level, and we are 17 minutes into the first quarter.
That's what I'm talking about. It was hands by Anthony, no body.
Ball taken out of the contest. Again, the hands there of, I think that was Williams, got the ball further afield. Brown goes in short. Missed the target there, picked up there. Sablish went by hand, got it back again, needs to pick it up cleanly. He's got a bit of pressure from Brown again. Over the top, he reaches. He sits over the top. He might be in a bit of trouble now. Not too sure which way the umpire's going to see it. Says he dived on top. Free kick will go to East Geelong's way. So
that's one of my pet hates, Robbie. That was a push in the back end round the neck, but for some reason, if the bloke's on the ground, you're allowed to do that.
Yep,
it's,
so low.
Very odd.
Yeah, low with the ball now. He goes sideways. Kick is okay. Mark is not paid by the umpire. Williams went back and got it. Got it to Monaghan. Monaghan got out of trouble. Went back to Lowe. Lowe gives it to McLennan. Big fella needs to think through the passage there, and he did so nicely. Williams went sideways. That was a great kick on the left boot, and he found his teammate out there in Gear. So Gear goes further afield. And Lowe is pushed from one side of the ground to the other and taken the mark. Goes around the boundary line. Good interception there. Harburger, I think it was, got the ball towards Boyd. Steps around one's got a player inside, but went backwards into the hands of Miller. And back to Boyd, I think. I'm not too sure what he was trying to do there. But he's able to run around now on the right boot and to look to deliver the ball towards centre forward. But going across, and the mark has been taken out there by McIntyre. So McIntyre chips straight up the middle of the ground. Mark is taken. So they keep possession of the ball. The short game has been okay, but that's got a bit too much on it. And the mark this time for Werribee has been taken by Sablich once again. So Sablich now from the half-back line. He goes across the ground. Kick was okay. Good spoil from behind. Picked up, though. Yates got boot to ball. Went back into the forward line. And again, in front, Carlton, I think it is. No, it's not. It's Taylor. Takes it right on field 50 or just outside?
Yeah, he'll think he can kick this. I'm not sure.
I just can't see the line from here. No, he's about 10 out. So he decides to go to the pocket. Sutton leads in that direction. Up over the top. Ball out the back. Picked up out there. And again, it's Williams got the handball back inside to Monaghan. And he delivers the ball back outside 50. Got some good distance. And the mark not taken by Yates. Out the back, Linehan Cunningham got the handball away. Went back to Crennan. Crennan on the right boot. Swings it back inside. Again, East Geelong have filled up a nice wall there. And they take the ball and they move it back to the outside 50. This time, a good spoil from behind there. Taylor comes across the front of the contest. Had a go at it. Picked it up. Was tackled. Brought to ground. Umpire says it's tackle without the ball. And it's going to be a free kick going to Taylor. A little bit sluggish getting off the ground there. You can put the ball on the ground there. I'm not too sure you're supposed to do that.
I think actually very cleverly asked the umpire first if he was allowed to. He was figuring out who to give it to, and he popped it on the ground. So he must have got permission.
So Yates is going to take the kick now, and he decides to go long, and he will go towards the full forward position again. Williams from behind got the spoil away at ground level. Monaghan picks the ball up, handballs out to McIntyre, chips towards centre half back, and that was nicely done. Mark is taken out there by O'Connell. He's now going to steady things down for the East Geelong side, and they've done things pretty nice in this first quarter. Been able to maintain possession of the ball, and they still hold that on the half back line. Clubroom side. Umpire now calls them to play on, and he goes long along the boundary line. Again, mark not taken, picked up Miles, got out of one contest, but put himself in a bit of trouble. Turned the ball over, and again they rode back towards centre wing, picked up, and it's Miller that will take the ball back towards forward 50. Gets out the back. Numbers there with East Geelong once again. Massey runs across the ground. He's looking for low. Got some work there. Carlton's with him. Kept the ball in front. Did that nicely. Tried to get round the tackle. Taken a little bit high.
He did a Selwood there. He dropped the knees and dropped the head and everything.
Just turned nicely. Kicks the ball back inside. And again, Crennan comes up. Takes the mark. He decides to go quickly. Player out wide. Mark needs to be taken. Yates did that nicely. And he will go back. And distance won't be a problem for this fella.
Well, distance won't be. But a centre half back, full back all his career, that might be the difference.
So we'll soon find out.
I'll tell you what, this is critical because at the moment they're about 4 goals behind in my book.
So Yates with an opportunity to kick the second for Werribee. And he has to deal with a 50-metre kick, but the breeze will be behind him. Steps in, kicks that goal.
Go,
and as you said, mate, going to go wide and very wide and out of bounds on the full. Free kick will go to Rich.
I think the boundary umpire's...
The boundary umpire's signal
put one hand up. Yeah, it's a throw-in.
Oh.
I can't really see how that could happen because unless they got a hand to it.
So throw-in now in the forward pocket. Werribee in attack. Sutton doing the ruck work with McLennan. He gets a hand to it, picks up the crumb himself, falls on top of it. He's tackled, dragged down, and the umpire said we'll have a secondary stoppage. So we've got Daly sitting back or having a rest on the bench. Sutton doing the work again with McLennan. McLennan gets it, tries to double handle it. Probably could have been penalised. A quick snap at goal out of the pack.
Missed it.
It's 1 point only. Didn't even see who that was. The
Anthony.
pick was that pick. And the man who I think is the best player on the ground at the moment, Luke Williams for East Geelong, will take the kick in. He kicks low out into the pocket, and McIntyre, who's also played very well today, neatly kicks down the line looking for his teammate there in Jacobs. Jacobs kicks down the line, coming through very quickly for the is Carter for East Geelong. Always a mark drop in the forward line, allows Quarrier to butter up. He hand passed around, but his hand pass has been intercepted. Gets across to O'Connell. O'Connell out to the wing. Rich has come up from defence to make position in the middle of the ground. Umpire's blown the whistle. Umpire has blown the whistle, and
well, it looked like a fair bump to me. It was a bit late, and it was definitely a down the ground free kick, but it looked like a bit late. But if he's made contact with the head, that's the end of him.
So Nathan Johnson, who's having his first game back after a suspension, I believe, is in the book already. Early in the first quarter.
Is yellow report?
No, not necessarily. It can be, but not necessarily.
So he's off for 20 minutes, gentlemen, is it?
Yeah, I think so, but he can be replaced.
Yeah, that's right.
He actually has been writing. He's writing it in the book as well,
so
he's gone.
Mars takes the ball. The umpire has said you've got to wait. There's an injured player. Is Brown going off the ground as well? The umpire's forced everyone to wait. And we'll go back to Mars now, who has the ball just forward of centre for East Geelong. Beautiful low drop punt kick into the forward line. Punched away. It's Crennan quickly kicks the ball. Sutton comes out. That's going
that's
to
reportable if you want to report somebody.
That is a very ugly front on
That's
tackle.
Worse than the other one.
From young Luke Williams, and Sutton has hit the deck. The umpire's pulling out a little bit of paper out of his sock.
They're both getting him.
And
I've got a funny feeling that one will be reported.
Yep, and there's a yellow card, and Luke Williams, who has been burning it up here at East Geelong, has been sent off the ground, and he too will have a 20-minute rest in the box. And that was just a very unfortunate and unnecessary attack on
the player or the
ball, depending on what you look at it.
They're both stupid dickheads because they've both been suspended this year, Williams and Johnson, and they both come and do some stuff that you don't need to do. And I think East Geelong are the worst out of it because Williams, to mine, was second best on the ground or best on the ground, and Johnson's just come on. So I think East Geelong will suffer the most. But why, after you've come back from a suspension, both of you, would you commit acts like that you don't need to do? And you both keep 20 minutes, and I reckon that one is a report. I think he's reported him. I'm not sure about the other one, but he's definitely reported
definitely him.
Both been
so Sutton hand passes quickly to Crennan. He kicks the ball forward, coming over the back of the pack, taking a very good mark. East Geelong is Rich. He kicks into the centre half back position, and marking the ball there is Belitho. He said he's going to get 50 metres. That's Nawati will take.
Now you can argue all you like because as far as we see it, he played on.
But the
umpire hadn't called play on, so it's 50.
So it's Nawati kicks the ball in the forward line, looking for Bosley, but coming across in front is Linehan. Cunningham takes a relieving mark, and already there's a little bit of tension developing between the two sides, which is really annoying because the game had been beautifully played up until then.
I think it will be. It's just two silly incidents. That's all. I think they'll settle.
Yeah, ball comes out and it's Yates.
Oh, he's over the fence.
Yates took the mark, saw the fence coming and decided to leap over it rather than crash into it and landed him in a puddle on the other side, the big fella. He's kicked the goal for Werribee, kicks long into the forward line. Coming over the back is Rich, picks up the crumb, hand passes across to Nawati, but they can't get the ball clear. It's over the boundary line, right in front of the social rooms here at the East Geelong football ground. I think scores are still somewhere near level with 26 minutes into the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
So the ball thrown back in, as we said, right in front of the club rooms, far side of the ground. McLennan takes it out of the ruck contest, got the handball away, and that was okay. Went to the hands of Beliath, though, kicks round the boundary line. Marcus not taken out there. The recovery is good by McGrath. Got the handball back inside, and again they look to deliver the ball across the ground. It's going to be okay because Lowe has got plenty of time and there was space. He picks the ball up. He looks down the ground. He chips back inside. Marcus taken out there this time by Gear. Gear moves the ball quickly, goes out wide. That's Lemper. Lemper now. Beasley comes at him. That's a good delivery of the ball, and he comes up and takes the mark. Now, again, a testing kick, kicking back into the breeze.
I don't know if you can get that. But that's more than a testing kick. That'll take an absolute ripper from there.
Massey's pushed down. He's going to use him. No, he's not.
Well, is that play on? No.
He would be in the AFL.
Yeah, I know, because he actually did go off his line.
Yeah, sideways, you're right.
You only have to blink and they nail you in the AFL.
So Bosley now with an opportunity.
But we're GDFL, so I'm glad the umpires saw it that way.
Correct.
So he's going to kick from about 45, I reckon. Steps in. Kicks it low, uses the breeze, it's coming back. Oh, and it's hit the post.
That's a magnificent kick.
He's read the breeze very nicely there, Benny Bosley.
He's a class player, this boy.
But it ties things up here, and it's 1 goal, 2 apiece. We tick over 27 minutes in this first quarter. So we would think that Werribee, with a bit of work to do, and it's going to be brought back in quickly by Alush, goes out wide and long. Marcus taken out there.
That's the siren, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I thought I heard the siren, then I thought, no. Our siren has sounded. And it's gone just on 27, 28 minutes. So at quarter time it is Werribee and East Geelong, both on 1 goal, 2 apiece. The goal kickers for East Geelong is William Hoare, and for the Werribee side, Prismal with 1. Take a short break. When we come back, second quarter action here from the Auswide
Plumbing and Civil Oval.
Thank you very much. You listen to 94.7, your pulse, your home of local football.
The second quarter, brought to you by Buckley's Entertainment Centre.
Buckley's Entertainment second quarter will start off with both sides tied at 1-2 at Oswide Plumbing and Civil Oval. Two different styles of play that quarter. One highly successful, one puts Werribee under a great deal of pressure, Grubby.
Yeah, it does. Look, to be quite honest, I thought they were absolutely and completely outplayed for the whole quarter. When they did get the ball and send it forward for the first 20 minutes of the quarter, they just banged it in anywhere and gave the forwards absolutely no chance whatsoever. And East Geelong played against the wind the way you're supposed to. Go down, cross the ground, short pass, and eventually get to your forward. And they were able to kick a goal as well. To be quite honest, I just think if things go the way the same quarter, I think Werribee Centrals could be 5 or 6 goals down at half-time, unless they knuckle down and try and play exactly the same football as what East Geelong played in that first quarter. But you've got to give them credit, East. They lost a toss, they kicked against the wind, and they're in it at quarter time. For them, I thought the Bolitho was okay. Bosley looks dangerous. That was a beautiful kick. He really deserved the goal for that. That was a magnificent kick. Lemper was pretty good. McIntyre was all right. Menzies did some nice things. I thought Williams was second best on the ground until he went off. I thought Mars was very, very good across the half-back line, but my best on the ground for the first quarter was Lowe. I thought he just did a million things, and every time he got the ball, he hit an East Geelong player on the chest. Werribee, not as easy to find. Not as easy to find. I thought Daly went all right in the ruck. I thought he had the best of the ruck. I thought in the ruck tap-outs, he won them easily. Boyd did a few nice things. Brown again. Carlton had a bit of the ball. Miller got it 3 times and butchered it twice, which is not like him, but he's had 6 or 7 weeks off with a broken jaw, so it'll take a bit of time for him. I thought Quarrier was solid down back. Taylor was okay, and Yates performed pretty well. But at this point in time, unless they find something, come up with something in this second quarter, I think they're going to be in awful trouble at halftime.
Yeah, but knowing the ground is really important, but you mentioned about the kicking, the quality of their field kicking and the placement of it, but so many players loose, which I think is that a bit slack on the part of Werribee as well. There was lots of players in the clear, so their system was really well organised. If they can develop a similar control of the ball system and get to within range for goal, you could see them opening up a bit of a gap, can't you?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And as I say, Werribee have now got to go back and play that defensive football. I mean, it's very hard to score against them. I'd throw a couple extra back myself. I'd be throwing a couple extra back to try and limit the damage and go in 3 or 4 goals down at half time and try for a big score in the third quarter. Because if they play as loose as they did in that first quarter, they'll be 6 or 7 goals down at half time. They can't play that style of football.
Dale, you've coached before, a couple of players, one from each side in the sin bin already. Very frustrating when you're trying to develop a bit of cohesion.
It does, especially when you've got a player that of Williams calibre. As I said, he was playing some good footy from the half-back line and gave him plenty of drive from that area, and he's not afraid to push up the ground. Johnson, as I said, just come back from suspension himself, and as I said, there's a right way, wrong way to go about it. He obviously wanted to insert his presence in the game, but that was probably just the wrong way to do it. But anyway, we'll just wait and see what happens and what plays out there. But again, it just makes it a little bit hard now with the options they've got, I suppose. Anthony, with the bloke, I'd probably look at putting back, I reckon, just to shore things up for the Werribee side, just in defence. But again, who knows? They might just free themselves up and think, well, we've let ourselves down the first quarter. Nick might have just said, look, let's just play with a bit of free abandon and go forward. Well,
the thing is, I don't know if the 20 minutes for Johnson will be that invaluable. Because if he goes back to full forward against the wind, I don't know how many opportunities he's going to get. But Williams, on the half-back flank, the ball will still get there, and he can stem from there, he can go forward. I think East Geelong lose. I don't know if they were both reported. There wasn't a big difference in the 2 bumps. I think Johnson's was a bump that if he did contact the head, was accidental contact of the head with a normal bump. But unfortunately, Williams went straight through him into the head while he was over the ball trying to pick it up, which is the old Byron Pickett stuff that they've really tried to outlaw from the game. But look, I hope they're not reported, but I think Williams is, and I dare say I think Johnson might be too.
Yeah, it looks a bit that way.
I'm disappointed in both of them. After coming back from suspensions and doing that, they've let their club down, they've let themselves down, and for the rest of the year, they owe their club something from here.
Buckley's Entertainment, second quarter, 1-2 each. Dale Smith will get things started when the umpires are ready. They all look happy. asking their opposing umpires. Up goes the ball. Dale, get us going.
About to start the second quarter here. Siren sounding. Again, McLennan doing the work against Daly, and they basically did the most of the ruck work in that first quarter. Time McLennan takes the ball out of the contest, goes into the half-forward line. Again, it's going to be picked up by Bosley. Couldn't take it cleanly. He's kept the ball alive, though. Went to get back and got it again. Needs to get the handball out. Was tackled, brought to ground without prior opportunity there. The umpire comes in quickly and takes possession of the ball.
Sorry, I hate doing things wrong, but the bloke I did miss on Werribee's best was Crennan. I never mentioned him. He's probably been nearly their best.
So this time the ball, neither ruckman get a hand on it. DeLeon tries to force his way through the contest. It comes out, and the umpire said now there's going to be a free kick,
No, I think he's going to ball it up.
Is he? Must have been held.
He said mine.
Okay. So he's going to throw it up. Similar positions at last. McLennan takes the front position, taps the ball down, picked up Bosley. Not a clean kick out of the contest. Low comes in again, kicks the ball back into their forward 50. And a mark, will it be taken? I think it has been, and it's going to be paid. And it looks like Carter, I think, that's got the mark. So he will go back and shoot for the first goal for the East Geelong side. We've gone just over a minute in this second quarter. So a good way to start this for East Geelong. 20 metres out directly in front. Left footer. Kick is offline. It hasn't even scored. And that will be okay.
That would have been soul destroying for Werribee, that first goal in the first couple of minutes of play.
Yeah. So it's Alush now going to bring the ball back in. His options are long. He's going to go along the boundary line. And again, mark out there. Linehan Cunningham had his hands on it. Couldn't finish the mark. Got hands and knees. Again, they work pretty hard over the top of the ball. Umpire comes in, and again, he will take possession of the ball. Forward 50.
This will also test the Werribee coaching panel. Low did all his work in the back line. Have a look where he is now. Dangerous position. They've got to man him up, Low.
So the ball, free kick to Werribee, he said.
From the trail and umpire and that, geez, I hate that. It might have been there, but gee.
So it was Carlton that actually got the free kick. Goes along the boundary line. Miles takes the mark. Just for defensive side of centre wing for the Werribee side. Asking players to come at him, and he now kicks the ball along the boundary line. Ball's the target in front. Rich.
Well, that's a definite
another free kick.
And he shouldn't need to hold him because I don't think Baldy was going to get anywhere near it whatsoever in that position.
So Nick Ball now called the play on by the umpire, and he goes long into their forward line. Players come out, mark not taken. Lowe was there, had the ball, got the handball out. It's going to be picked up there by Yates, who got the long handball out. That's a great handball. Opens it up now. It's into the hands of Prismal. Goes forward. Massey couldn't take the mark. Ball comes down again. Boyd over the top of the ball. Tries to tap it out. He's tackled, and players now sit on top. And the umpire will come in and take possession of the ball. 40 out from goal, directly in front.
There you go, Brownie. Not bad.
Umpire throws it up. Ruckman go at it. Daly scoops it out the back, and again, ball is picked up. East Geelong. They get the ball running their way, but it's picked up by Miller, got the handball away, and it goes back to Prismal. He goes out wide. Well, kick was well weighted because the mark has been taken out there by Carlton, I think. Reached over the top.
You've got to get it
take it. He's going to move it quickly. He goes long into the goal square. Out the back, Yates.
Good mark.
Umpire says he did that okay. And he will go back and have a chance to kick the first goal for Werribee in this second quarter.
That's a different version again. That's when they brought the hands in the back rule, but you're allowed to put your hands up and the bloke back into you. I think that's what he did then, and then sprang off him. So there's another version of what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, well, he sprang back rather than pushing him forward. So
but he held him first.
Yeah,
So Yates steps up, kicks that goal, and I think that is okay. And they have the first goal of the second quarter and moves them now to 2-2. They lead East Geelong on 1-2. And Mark Yates' first goal for the afternoon. Buckley's Entertainment Centre second quarter scoreboard.
Well, I just think you can see the purpose in their play against the wind than what they did have with the wind. Sometimes I reckon these blokes think, well, we got the wind, they'll do it for us. And when you're against the wind, we've got to really work hard, and you may play better. But that wind's springing up, so there's still a long way to go in this quarter. But by gee, if they can drag another one, all right, but they've still got to go defensive because I reckon East will kick 5 this quarter.
So back in the middle now, McLennan, who was involved in that last contest, loses the ruck work again to Daly. He gets it, the ball forward coming through his mask. Very good job. Kicks it off the ground. Follows up, kicks it off the ground again. Getting a side forward for his side. Alush picks up a nice bit of work from Daly. DeLeon runs onto the ball. Coming through again is Alush. Hand passes, but the umpire has called that a throw. And it's Belitho from the East Geelong side. is Michael Balitho. He has the ball in the centre of the ground, looking to get east forward again, looking for options. He's waiting, being very patient with the sensible gauge. Fires a short kick, coming out and taking a mark. Again is Carter. He kicks the ball long and low into the forward line. Up with one hand. The umpire said that Linehan Cunningham had hold of the other arm of the East Geelong forward there, and I think that's McGrath. And he's going to have a shot for goal about 30 metres out, directly in front.
Well, I don't think there was any doubt about that, but to the kid's credit, if he didn't, McGrath was going to mark it anyway.
Yeah, he really had him covered, and Linehan Cunningham just reached out and
if you get away with it, you get away with it. If you don't, well, there's no harm done, because he's going to get it anyway.
So McGrath, chance to quickly level things up again. A kick from about 30 to 35 out, directly in front, tries to steer it through. Breeze brings it back nicely, and that is the second goal to East Geelong. 2 goals, 2 apiece. We're 6 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
Again, you can see the value of the win. Like Werribee kicked the first goal, and they work, and Invalid and East Geelong just did it nice and easy. It was very precision football. It's hard to play against this win. And as I said, I still think East Geelong can kick 5 or 6 this quarter, so Werribee must either defend or kick a couple themselves. But good footy, East Geelong.
Good to see Balitho. He was 1.5 to 2 kicks out and waited for an option rather than just banging it in, which is what we saw in the first quarter when Werribee had the wind advantage.
Well, exactly. That's what I've been banging on about. They've just been banging in and banging. When they did go in Werribee, they kicked the goal, but they didn't do it right in the first quarter. So now they've got to change their game and do this part of it well this quarter.
So back in the centre, McLennan he's lowered his colours so far to Daly. Daly gets a double-hander again, whacked forward towards Carlton. He can't pick the ball up. Neat little sidestep for East Geelong there. McIntyre gets it out to a teammate, but coming in and taking a relieving mark
great pressure
is Yates, who's kicked the 2 goals for the Werribee side already. He kicks low into the forward line, but coming across, taking an intercepting mark is Hugh Menzies, who's done a really good job so far today, the young fella. He kicks long down the line, looking for McGrath, who's just kicked that last goal. Punched away from him by Linehan Cunningham over the back. His Boyd gets it through to Quarrier. Quarrier, neat little kick in, looking for a teammate, can't quite get it. Bouncing onto it is Crennan. He tries to burst through the pack, but without prior opportunity, he's dragged to the ground and will have a ball up. Right in front of the change rooms here at East Geelong, scores level, and we are 7.5 minutes into the first quarter.
So the ball goes down from the contest, picked up there by Prisnell, got the handball away. Again, teammate Yates couldn't get the ball away. Umpire said he had prior opportunity, so the free kick is going to go to Jacobs. Jacobs of East Geelong, and from centre wing decides to deliver the ball into their forward line, coming through over the top. McGrath had good hands and took the mark. Again, I reckon just outside range, so he decides to chip quickly to the Bosley, leads up. Oh, he might have been lucky there to grab the arm, but umpire said that was okay. Ball has gone out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in to take place about 20 around from the behind post.
Well, the binoculars never lied, and I reckon he was interfered with. Those. I really do. Very lucky to get away with that, Werribee. But then again, the prior opportunity down here was about 1/15 of a second.
So umpire about to restart play, as we said. Forward line, thrown back in. Again. It's done now, gone down, and it's going to be picked up again. East Geelong with the numbers around, but again, there's numbers around the contest. Umpire says it's going to come back to me. Daly doing the work as their ruckman down there. And it looks like young Menzies doing the ruck work. Ball comes out, runs back towards the boundary line, tackle
that
strong.
That could be a swing tackle.
Oh, dropping the ball, the umpire's paid.
Wow, gee, that's no prior either. Come on, boys.
So Brad Carlton it is now, recipient of the free kick. He decides to deliver the ball back outside 50. Marcus taken out there by Lemper, and he's going to transfer play back towards the centre half forward position. Low going back, but Bosley coming out from full forward takes a nice mark, and he will go back and shoot for goal.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he kicks it like that difficult one down there, this is through. This you can write it in your book.
Yes, he'll have plenty of practice. He'll have the wind at his back this time. Distance won't be a problem because we thought he was too far out last time into the wind. You kick from probably, I can't see that line, Dale, but it'd be just on 50, the man on the mark, would he?
Yeah, I reckon he might be inside it, I reckon.
It won't matter. It won't matter. The distance is not going to matter him here. It's just whether he can allow for the wind and not steer it wide of the big sticks. He's chipped at it. What did you
chipped at
get
it.
told?
Pack formed between point post, goal post, knocked through, didn't even quite make the distance. And I think you're right, Jubby. He was playing a 9-iron rather than hitting a 3-iron at that one.
Through the football, no matter where you are. 1 metre, 50 metres. Kick through the football.
So
He
it's
can tell
Alush.
himself that because he's the coach.
Yeah, correct. Alush has the ball for Werribee. He dobs it up onto the halfback flank. Excuse me.
See, Daly there never got to the
Ryan
contest.
Rich comes out and takes a really good mark for East Geelong, kicks it across the ground. And Fraser O'Connell has marked the ball definitely within kicking range. He's just somewhere between directly in front and 45 degrees. I'll give it a number of 27. And he'll come in and kick. He's going back a Ben Brown type run up. He's walked back to the centre wing. And he's going to come in and he'll eventually kick from inside 40 metres. So it's a long, long run up the young fella's taking. Very important moment for his side if they can get that bit of an advantage and get a roll on. Very deliberate. Once again goes the 9-iron. But that's a very straight 9-iron, straight through the middle. And East Geelong hit the lead 3-2 to 2-2. And I think we are at the 11-minute mark of the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
Yeah, look, when you kick out from goal, a lot of the times, if there's no game plan to do it, they just see where their big bloke is and say, we'll go there. But Paddy Daly got nowhere near that contest. Now, I know the wind holds it up a bit, but what it is he's that raw that he wins the tap-outs, but a good ruckman would have got to that contest and marked it. And he never even got to the contest. And once he didn't, there were East Geelong blokes everywhere. They're free. He had 3 or 4 options to go to. So, you know, you've got to pick and choose where you kick the ball. Come wider to the boundary if you have to. But don't just pick a bloke because he's big.
Back in the middle we go again, this time McLennan and Daly goes at it. Daly got the tap away, picked up there, or wasn't picked up. De Leon tries to get the ball, running the wrong way, needs to get the handball away, did so nicely. Back to Miller. Miller now has a little bit of time and space, delivers the ball back towards centre wing, coming out. The mark is not taken there by Taylor. Good ball from behind again. Prism will follow up, goes to Taylor, gets the ball out wide to Crennan, put him under a little bit of pressure. Doesn't matter now because the ball's gone over the boundary line and will be thrown back in on centre wing, far side of the ground from where we sit.
Look, they didn't execute it that well, but that's what they've got to do. That's what they've got to play. That short game, didn't quite execute it. Keep on it.
So again, this time Daly front position, gets the ball out the back, picked up there by McIntyre, got the handball away. I'm not too sure who he was looking at when he gave the handball, but didn't suit his teammate, but he went back and won possession of it. Was he taken in the back? Yes, he was. Good call, Grubb. And a free kick is going to go this time to, I think, O'Connell once again. He's been a pretty good player for most of the day, O'Connell. And he will kick the ball. He's outside 50. Looking at his options.
He's not even going to have a shot.
He's going to go short. Player that leads up is Bosley. The bounce is going to favour him. He's looking for his options. Steadies, goes back. That's a nice look. And a good kick. Mark has been taken. And I think that's Hoare coming out and taking the mark. No, it's not. It is Carter. Carter has one go out of this quarter. And this time I reckon he won't chip at it. I reckon he might kick through the ball.
Just a little bit more precision then, Grubby.
Oh, he's handballed it.
Oh!
Go with the Mars. Mars runs in, put him under pressure, deliver the ball long to the goal square, and Daly is back there, and we'll see it push through for a minor score.
There.
Now, I don't know why he would have done that, because there's not a big distance to work with, and...
Could the confidence of the first poor effort just troubled him? Because that was...
tarnished his thoughts a bit, but anyway, it's 3-4 now, East Geelong. Werribee on 2-2.
Even before that, 4 Werribee players standing on their haunches and an East Geelong forward on his own. It's just, they keep doing that, they're in trouble. They've got to pick blokes up in there.
So Alush now for Werribee. Again, kicks out, gets under it a bit. It goes up in the air, kicking again towards Daly. Miller comes through trying to win the ball. Comes off his knee, dribbles over the boundary line. The boundary throw in right on the 50-metre arc. Werribee defending desperately at this particular stage. Each Geelong working really, really well in their forward line. McLennan, who's definitely lowered his colours so far to Daly, is trying to get back in the game. Daly again gets it, but it's picked up by Polithau. The umpire's blown a whistle, and he said that McLennan had hold of Daly's arm, which he did. He hand passes quickly to Crennan, kicks down the line over the head of the leading Miles, but coming in to take the mark behind him is Sutton. And, there's a 50-metre penalty that wasn't paid by the umpire, in my opinion, but it's Sutton who has the ball for Werribee. Right in front of our commentary box here. The young fella kicks quickly down, but it's very much up. Coming out, trying to get the ball is Taylor. Crennan picks up the crumb. but it goes outside the boundary line. We'll have another throw in. Right on centre wing now.
Did the umpire call play on then when he kicked it?
Yeah.
Because he's run over the mark and touched it, and then he called play on. That's another 50. He just missed two 50s.
McLennan and Daly again. Daly double fists it down to Taylor. It's a little bit of time. He does kick quickly into the forward line. Sutton trying to get underneath the ball. The ball takes a big off break and goes out of bounds again. We'll have another boundary throw in, but Werribee are pushing closer and closer to goal. East Geelong playing well, but they just can't get the ball into the forward line enough to score, but with the times they've taken it in there, they've done it with precision. Werribee working really hard defensively. Daly again over the back of the pack to De Leon. Mars gets the ball. He's dragged to the ground. The umpire will have another ball up. Again, the tackling's been pretty strong from both sides, causing lots of stoppages. It's a bit of a blight on the game, but it's part of the modern game. Daly again gets it past to a running Miles. Miles on the left foot, kicks hard into the forward line. Players set up in the middle of the pack, over the back to Anthony, but just beats his outstretched hand, goes through for one behind. 2 goals, 3 to the Werribee side, 3-4 to East Geelong, and we're 16 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
They chip the ball out wide, and again they've got the ball to the half-back line, and it's in the hands of Lowy. Looks back inside, got a player in Rich, takes the mark, wants his options. They're still there, goes inside Hoare. Excuse me, that's William, goes long, out wide, Bellido goes back with the mark, and he takes it nicely. They continue to run, they go into the pocket, and it's going to be Bosley. Didn't get a favourable bounce. Carter is there, looks at his options, got the handball back inside, and that was nicely done. Player went to kick the ball, but missed it completely. It's picked up by Yates, who's able to get the ball out towards Daly. Has some running support, and it's Crennan. Crennan now goes towards centre wing, sets Sutton a little bit of a task. He's out in front of Niall Waddy. Niall Waddy gets himself in the best position. Sutton has worked pretty nicely, but Niall Waddy picked the ball up. He's tackled, and the ball is not going to come out. Umpire said he had prior opportunity, and the free kick is going to go to De Leon. So De Leon now with the ball, and he's on centre wing. Can transfer play to their forward line. Goes looking towards Miles, but the kick has come off the side of the boot, and he's gone out of bounds on the full. Grub maybe with a couple of quarter-time scores there.
Inverleigh 4-8-32, North 1-4-10, Belpost Hill 9-6-60, Belmont 3-2-20, Thompson 9-3-57, Anarchy no score, West 6-6-42, Winch 1 point, and Bannockburn 4-5-29, Trail Carrillo 6-1-37.
Good on the boys. The Devils are on the march.
Are you kidding me?
That's a strong wind out there.
Go Devils!
So the ball back in the middle of the ground. It sits over Yates, tries to tap it out and does so now. Kicked off the ground. It comes out of the groove plot. Picked up there by Hoare. Got the handball away. Outside went Gear. Gear gave it away further towards Monahan, and he goes towards centre wing. Marker's not taken out there. At ground level, picked up. Miller got the handball away. Crennan got the ball again. Goes by hand. He's going to win it back from Carlton. Sprints away and kicks the ball into their forward line. Rich has front position. Got the handball out. Missed the target. Able to go back. Gear couldn't take it cleanly. Boyd tries to push the ball forward, but it's Gear who went back, got the handball out wide into the hands of McIntyre. Over the top, they bring the ball back inside. They're looking for some options. They've gone backwards, but they still maintain possession as Monahan runs over the boundary line, and the ball will be thrown back into the field of play.
Just had a phone call. Bannockburn won the toss and kicked with the wind. Only joking.
Seriously?
No, only joking. Only joking.
So ball thrown back in on that far side. Daly and McLennan. The ball is tapped out of that contest. Miller read that nicely out of the contest. He goes. Kick was smothered. Needs to go back and win it again. Did put his head over the ball and won it nicely. Tried to give it to Prismal. Prismal is tackled. Goes back to Miller. Don't know whether it's a handball, but he handed it back
to each other 3 times, not one hand.
But the umpire says we've had enough of that, so we'll come in and take possession on centre wing. Clubroom side of the ground again. It's Daly who got the ball out. Picked up Prismal. He missed it with a mid-air shot, but it goes towards Belli though. He kicks the ball along the ground. Picked up there. McIntyre tackled high, I thought. Umpire says no. Holding the ball. So it's going to be a free kick to the Werribee side. So Brad Carlton is the recipient, and he has the ball. Not too sure they need to move the ball quickly, but they need to move the ball precisely.
Exactly.
And he's going to go in towards centre half forward. That's nice because Miller has made position. That's a good kick and a good mark. He's got an option wide, but decides to go towards goal. Chips the ball low, coming out. Mark, was it taken?
I reckon
Umpire
it bounced.
said no, and no prior opportunity to get rid of it. And he's been pretty quiet today, younger Brendan Wilson. Haven't seen much of him.
You see Miller, as soon as he got the ball, he looked out wide. He's played better football. There's usually someone there, but there wasn't anyone there.
Yeah, he's really helped in this quarter. Miller, he's really got back into his stride. Into the middle of the ground now, overrunning the ball to East Geelong players. It's Quarrier who picks it up out of the mud, kicks it, but straight up in the air, and Menzies for East Geelong will take the mark. Umpire said no 15, play on.
No 15.
He's immediately tackled, and we'll have a ball up.
He kicked it from the mud.
Just outside the centre square.
Oh, that was touch and go.
Right on the wing.
Really paid that.
Bald and McLennan finally gets a tap out, but it's sharked by De Leon. He kicks it straight up in the air. Lowe takes a very, very good mark under a great deal of pressure. And Grubby has anointed him best player on the ground at quarter time, and he's had some really important possessions this quarter as well. So Lowe now kicks it very ugly down on the forward line. Linehan Cunningham muscles in. Young Menzies comes out, can't quite win the ball. Coming through for East Geelong there very, very brilliantly was...
good mark. Lemper, wasn't it?
Yep. Lemper, and it's gone down to the forward line, but taking the mark for Werribee is...
Brown.
Brown. He kicks forward, but Lemper gets the ball again. This time he's going to have a long shot at goal, and it's just drifted off with the wind across the face of goal, and 1 point. So it's 3 goals, 5 now East Geelong. Werribee are 2 goals, 3. And we are 21 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter here at the Oswide Plumbing and Civil Oval.
The ball comes straight up the ground this time. Mark is not taken. Ground level picked up again. Lemper might have another chance here, but he looks sideways. Has a running player, or has a player out wide. Mark is taken out there by O'Connell. So again, he'll have another opportunity. East Geelong probably haven't done enough this quarter either with it grabbed at this stage.
They've had more shots, but they haven't. But I think what Werribee got to learn is when they come out of defence from a point or a mark, there's not enough people getting... They can only kick at 30 metres, and Werribee is standing 40 back. Right? Now, Miller's in the middle. He's had to run down and try and pick O'Connell up. I don't know where he's playing, but I don't think he's playing on the ball, which means there should have been a defender with him, and Miller shouldn't have had to go on down to try and stop that mark.
So O'Connell now, he kicks from the clubroom side, kicks towards goal, and I think he likes the kick off the boot.
Just kick that.
Umpire says it is okay. It is a goal. So O'Connell has his second of the afternoon, and now the fourth for East Geelong. They move to 4 goals, 5. They lead Werribee 2-3, and 22 minutes second quarter to Buckley's Entertainment second quarter scoreboard.
As I said, I think that was pretty poor defence, and the on balls have got to come down closer to the plate. But here's where the game's won and lost, because with only 22 minutes gone, East Geelong on a roll can kick 2 or 3 now. Werribee got to make sure that they don't have to score anymore. Werribee, I don't think they've just got to make sure that East don't. One maybe, but no more. But what sometimes happens towards the end of the quarter with the wind, they go bang, 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 and it's nearly all over at half time. That's what Werribee got to stop.
Johnson's back on the ground, wins the tap out. Carlton picks up the bobbling ball for Werribee, kicks the ball out, and Blake Taylor comes out. Very quick little hand pass back to Carlton. He neatly kicks forward, and coming out for his first possession was Brendan Wilson. Dropped the mark, but picked up the crumb. Back across to Boyd. Boyd's low kick into the forward line, looking for and finding Leonard leading out from the forward pocket. So he'll have a shot well within range, probably only kick from 30 metres into the wind. But if he aims at the right goalpost, it should very neatly slide across for full points, which is very important because it levels the scores up again at a time where we thought...
on the run, but not so much straight shot.
Comes off the boot. It's gone across the face of goal a little bit. Punched through, 1 point only to the East Geelong side. Ball's comes back in, kicked across, and Mast takes the ball in the back pocket. He kicks further down and finds Nawati. And we're just on the 50-metre arc. They're working their way slowly out of defence. East Geelong leading by a goal, but things have tightened up in the last little while. He's got himself into a bit of trouble. Breaks away, bounces through very strongly, kicks the ball into the middle of the ground, over the top of Johnson, who was waiting there. O'Connell very cleverly gets the ball away from his opponent. He's run a very, very long way, bounced just in the nick of time, kicked the ball over the top and lands very neatly in the hands of Belitho. He runs into an open goal, and that is a very important goal for East. Gives them a biggest lead of the day, just over 2 goals, I think a 13-point lead. And Grubby, that was a nice little bit of play. Did you think O'Connell may have run just a little far before he bounced it?
No, perfectly. No, the whole play was perfect except for 2 big mistakes. They've had plenty of shots for goal, both sides up the other end. You have to kick it to that point, to that goalpost, and he kicks it straight out the other side. Bad kick by Benny Leonard. But when Nagawati got the ball here and went to and fro, Jack Hill, the blind miner who's sitting out in the balcony on that house, knew he was going to play on. And they let him play on. They couldn't tackle him. You've got to tackle him. Even if you grab him by the leg and trip him over, he's got to go back and take his kick. because then they created the loose man all the way down. How the hell, again, 3 East Geelong players can be sitting on their own deep in the forward line is absolutely beyond me, but they were, and it probably created by the quick ball movement and brilliant footy all the way down the ground by the East Geelong footy side.
The ball back in the middle of the ground we go. Johnson doing the ruck work. McLennan gets the ball down. They win the ball from that middle contest. Again, Miller slowed things up. Crennan got the handball away. It was taken by the legs, says the umpire, so free kick will go to Tyler Crennan. And he will settle things down for Werribee. And without, as I said, 25 minutes, there's no urgency to get things flowing, but he goes out wide looking towards Boyd. The ball hits the ground. Sutton is there in support, but again, Boyd needs to go back. Had Rich there. He's got now balled between hands and knees, went over the top of the ball and was grabbed.
Is that in possession?
I think he had hold of it,
Yeah,
then put it down. So
he had him around the neck as well.
I hate
Grubby.
them. Well, maybe, but he played holding the man. I really nearly deem that in possession.
So ball now kicks along the boundary line. That's okay. Went through Taylor's hand. Johnson got the handball away. Went towards Carlton. Got the handball to Miles. Miles leads in. Kicks a little bit high into the forward line and slipping across and taking the mark as Williams. So he's back on the ground.
I still think you've got to go wide in that situation.
He goes short. Mark is taken. So they settle things down in their back end. No rush from East Geelong. You would think they would try and get the ball down the ground. Belitho now goes out wide.
That's a
Mark is
push in
taken
the back.
out there.
That is a straight out push in the back.
Harburger decides to go quickly and back into the forward line. Boyd front position, doesn't take the mark. Belitho's out the back, got the handball away. Watty's there, got support, goes out wide to Jacobs. Jacobs now from the half back line, kicks towards centre wing. Mark, it will be taken. No, it's not, but he's got support on the ground again. It's Belitho. He puts his head over the contest, tried to bury out the other side, couldn't do so. Umpire said he's coming back to me.
You know what that is? That is holding the ball.
Fryer.
He's grabbed the ball and tried to barge his way through. That's his prior opportunity. He's gone.
Yeah, he had 2 priors.
So the ball is thrown up, and again, Carlton takes the ball out of the contest, gave it to Johnson. Johnson tried to free it up, but again, picked up there, kicked further afield. Low is had the ball paddled towards him. He takes the ball now, and the ball is kicked further by Carter. That's a nice-looking kick into the hands of Bosley. He plays on now, looks for options, goes back inside.
Look, another one.
Great-looking kick, but again, getting back this time, it was Prismal. Got a hand in, transfer the ball out wide to Crennan, and Crennan now decides to keep going towards centre wing, over the top of Johnson. Daly at his bootlaces, couldn't pick the ball up. Carlton goes back to support him, got the handball back to Miller, and again they run through Crennan, go back towards their half-forward line. Sutton's in front, good ball from Watty, kicked off the ground. Boyd leads in the race for the ball, picks it up, tried to avoid a tackle, got out of it, did that nicely, kicks into the forward line, and that's a good-looking kick. Mark wasn't completed, but there's been a free kick
Chop
given,
the arms.
and it's going to go to Benny Leonard once again. So he's got the
And
ball.
50!
Bit of a twitch, was there?
Well, I don't think he'll miss this one.
No, he's right in the line, but I'm not too sure what it was for.
No, he
It's
paid it
against-
straight away.
It's against Berry.
It sounded to me, or looked like to me, there might have been a bit of mouthing off at the umpire because I couldn't see anything physical there.
So Leonard now steps in and he kicks his first goal of the afternoon and a much-needed goal for the Werribee side. 3-4-22. They trail East Geelong 5-5-35. And we have gone 28 minutes, second quarter, Buckley's Entertainment Centre.
The only thing I could see, Grubby, was that Leonard twitched to kick to Johnson, who was running up the middle of the ground. Whether the bloke on the mark took a step to cover off, not quite sure.
It didn't look like it. The umpire just pointed and went bang. In the old days, and I know rotations have wrecked this, but in the old days, like I don't know if Benny Leonard could kick that from where he was against this wind. You know, he already showed that he missed the first one. They made it into a certainty when they didn't want Werribee to kick a goal. In the old days, you rip him off. But they don't anymore because of the rotations. It wrecks the rotations. I'd be ripping him off and giving him an ear bashing if it was for verbal abuse. Because that's so undisciplined. I hope it wasn't. I hope you're right, Rob. I hope he did that twitch, but...
Anyway, back in the middle, Daly's back on, wins the tap immediately after McLennan had won his first tap against Johnson at the last centre bounce, coming through Williams.
That's a free kick.
He's interfered with. The umpire says everything's all right. And coming through for East Geelong and clearing is... it's Mark Hoare. Gets down the line,
is that a free kick against Werribee? It's
Alushu gets the ball, kicks long back into the forward line, over the back of the pack. Sutton couldn't hold on to the ball. Williams, again, hand passes very quickly to Carter. The siren sounds. That's half-time here at the Oswide Plumbing and Civil Oval. Before you get out of the chair, Dale, goal kickers up to half-time, please.
Yes, goal kickers for East Geelong, 2 to Fraser O'Connell, 1 to William Hall, McGrath and Belitho. That's Michael. And for Werribee, Prismal Leonard and Yates are the goal kickers. So we're going to take a short break. Come back with Grubby to discuss the first half here at that long oval we've got here. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, the home of local football.
The third quarter, brought to you by De Grande's Sports and Cycle.
We're back at the Oswald Plumbing and Civil Oval. The players and the umpires were out in the ground, and a very slow-moving old supporter coming across the ground who's not in the box yet. Dale Smith's back in the box. We're almost ready to go. Grubby's not quite. Dale, very interesting game. I haven't got the exact scores, but is it about a 12-point buffer to East Geelong?
Yeah, pretty close to it, Rob. That's right. It's 3-4-22. 5-5-35 to East Geelong. So, yes, a comfortable margin. They probably could have been further in front, but it's to the credit of Werribee. They were able to hold things out. And as I said, third quarter's action's now away. The Ruckman go at it again. McLennan through the middle of the ground, picked up by Belai, though. He delivers the ball back into their half-forward line, going back. Savage got a bad bounce. Out the back, Carter taps it, keeps the ball alive, goes back to Belai, though. Interception by Daly. Tried to get the handball out. They win possession. Kicked there forward by Menzies. Just travelled about 10 or 15 metres into the hands of McIntyre. Going across. Linehan Cunningham got the ball from the half-back line to Carlton. Carlton around the boundary. Nice kick. And he will find his teammate out there in Prismal. So Prismal, actually it was, goes wide out looking for Taylor. And the ball goes over the boundary line and will be thrown back in. So they need to do some work in this quarter, the Werribee side. I reckon they want to be at least 3 in front. So they need to kick 5 without East Geelong scoring at this stage. Ball thrown back in by the umpire. Tap back to the front of the contest. Carlton goes after it once again. Picks the ball off. Shrugs the tackle. Got out of trouble. Got the handball away. Interception there was by... I think it was Hall, but he got it to McIntyre. McIntyre goes back around the boundary line, but coming up to meet the ball this time, the mark is taken by McGrath. So McGrath outside there, forward 50, looking to put the ball inside 50. Kick was poor. Coming out, mark is not taken at the back. Oh, it escaped a few into the hands there of... it was who?
Bosley.
Bosley it was, and he lines up, and he's kicked the first goal of the third quarter. So Benny Bosley with 1 for the afternoon, and now the 6 for East Geelong. They're 6-5, and they lead Werribee 3-4.
Who overran that ball?
About 4 of them did. It was like that ice skating bloke.
That last one, the ball didn't deviate a move. He just clean bowled him and gave him a sitter of a goal. You know, when you got the wins, you can't afford that.
Goodness gracious. And
he tried to kick it with his foot rather than try and grab hold of it, which was probably...
And Bosley is probably outplayed because he found himself at the back of the pack when he should have been at the front of it.
He was lucky because he was dragging the chain.
It's fell in the middle. Now we're back in the middle of McLennan and Daly. Daly has not lost a tap, and he won that one again. Carlton is the recipient. He hand passed across to Prismal. Prismal off the ground going forward, coming through very cleverly now. Hall gets it across to Bolitho. He comes through very strongly. Kicks low into the forward line, looking for and finding teammate. McConnell comes through, gets a very quick hand pass. He kicks low into the forward line. It bounces through for a goal. That is a magnificent start to this third quarter from the East Geelong side. 2 goals within about 2 minutes. They've shot away now to a 4-goal lead. Brilliant start, and that's really going to take a lot of undermining of the confidence of the Werribee side. Grubby, yes. Did you see that one?
No, he's getting some scores from half-time, so we'll have them with them shortly. But again, some good work there from Fraser O'Connell, who, I don't say it was a polished finish, but it was lucky enough to get the right bounce, and it went through. He has 3 for the afternoon, so a good day so for him at this stage. He's got a bit of dash about him. That's what I like about it. He gets out of the contest very nicely. Ball thrown back up in the middle of the ground, and again, Ruckman go at it. McLennan just takes it out of the air, kicks it back into their half-forward line. McGrath in front, Linehan Cunningham spoils. Handball comes over the top, goes back to that player O'Connell. He is tackled, brought to ground, and umpire did the right thing there and said no prior opportunity, and he will ask for the ball to come back to him. And again, just on the point of the 50-metre arc, ball out to McLennan. Once again, got the handball outside. McIntyre goes back further into the hands of Gear. Back to McIntyre. He looks across the ground. It's a nice way to kick, and Lowe has possession by himself and will go back and settle things down for East Geelong. As I said, 2 goals in under 4 minutes in this third quarter into the breeze, although it may have dropped off a little bit. Goes out wide. Mark is a nice grab out there. And the player this time is McGrath. Once again, Brent McGrath. So they haven't got any closer to goal, but they maintain possession of it. Plenty of leads coming forward. He now goes long, looking towards Bosley. 2-on-1. Spoil from behind is good. Goes back to where the ball came from. Into the hands now of Prismal. Got himself out of trouble by using the boot. Puts it in towards centre wing. Sutton's the only option out there because he's got numbers around him. And out the back is Williams. He picks the ball up. Got through the tackle. Did nicely. Has options. They need to deliver the ball. And they're going to go wide. Set Young Gear a bit of a task here, but the kick was good and he was taking the mark. So he kicked the ball in short. Again, player stop, had to wait behind Taylor. Brought the ball to ground, did nicely. Picked up there. They're looking for some options out wide, and Johnson's going to take the mark. And he's got to turn around and play on if he wanted to, but he's decided to go back, and he will shoot for goal. So yet to trouble the scoreboard at this stage.
Been off the ground for most of the game, either sitting on the bench or sent off.
So Nathan Johnson steps in. And from inside 50, loads up. It's going to be offline and through for a minor score. Not what they needed, but it's 3-5 now to the Werribee side, trailing East Geelong on 7-5. And we have ticked over 5 minutes. Third quarter to Grand East Cycling Sports, third quarter scoreboard.
It's Rich who takes the mark from the kick in. He again neatly kicks out, looking for Mars. Can't mark. The umpire's given him a free kick for chopped arms. And he'll take the kick on the halfback flank for the East Geelong side. They've been really, really disciplined so far this quarter and all through the first. The way they've moved the ball against the wind coming down the line. Miller definitely not a pack marking type player. Found himself as the only Werribee player knocked away from him, and the ball will be out of bounds for a throw in. Just in front of our commentary position at the Oswide Plumbing and Civil Oval at East Geelong, where they lead by roughly 4 goals. McLennan and Daly again. Daly over the back to Miller. He's tackled very quickly. No prior possession, and we'll have a ball up. It was Hoare from the East Geelong side who's played particularly well this afternoon, who dragged Miller down. McLennan and Daly again. McLennan this time, but it's Carlton who gets the tap out. It's to the aforementioned Hoare. He's a neat little hand pass to towards his brother. He gets it across to Belitho. No, it's Mars. Mars runs out of defence, kicks into the forward line. Menzies tries to take the mark. The young fella up with one hand, knocked away from him. He butters it up, but it goes over the boundary line on the centre wing, on the clubroom side of the ground. As I said before, we're commentating on the outer side. Ball about to be thrown in again. McLennan and Daly. They've been afternoon. Daly again. He's done a fantastic job. Straight into Carlton. Carlton are quickly across to Crennan. Crennan kicks high into the forward line. Sutton's the target, but I think it is out of bounds on the full, and East Geelong win the ball again. Kicked back by Williams into the middle of the ground, and taking the mark there is Lowe, who's had a very, very good afternoon indeed. Kicks it across, and Nawadi takes the ball for the East Geelong side. He again kicks low and slow out onto the half back flank, going out up across the back of the pack. Jacobs comes through, can't get the hand pass that was intended for him. He does go back hard at the ball, cross to O'Connell. O'Connell over the back of the pack to McLennan. He neatly gets around Crennan. Back across to teammate there in Belitho. He gets down the line, and it's O'Connell again. He runs on to the ball, kicks down to the forward line, looking for a teammate there. Can't run on it. Coming through very, very hard for the East Geelong side there is Carter. Kicks into the forward line, looking for Menzies. Dribbles over the back of the pack. And Carlton comes through and forces the ball over the line. A solitary behind again to the East Geelong side. They've scored 2-1 this quarter against the wind, and that could be quite an important passage of play. Kicked in by Linehan Carter down the line. Williams can't take the ball. Jacobs taps it over the back, but Miller, who's really lifted his game since quarter time for Werribee, he gets the ball, kicks it down to Leonard. Leonard can't control it. Nawadi runs through very, very strongly. Hand passes across to McLennan. He gets into a bit of space, kicks it on the ground to give himself some more. Runs onto it, coming through as a teammate Carter. He's dragged down and literally right in front of us. You could almost reach out and touch him. The ball will be thrown in for the right on the centre wing. East Geelong working very hard. Werribee trying to get themselves back into the contest here. It's Daly again. Daly over the back of the pack very cleverly to Taylor. He gets it across to De Leon. He can't control the ball. Grabbing the ball quickly for East Geelong is McIntyre. Kicks into the middle of the ground and finds McGrath. McGrath kicks long and low into the forward line. Looking for a teammate. Can't take the chest mark at full pace towards the ball. It was Lemper.
Oh!
He's been dragged down without too much prior opportunity.
Too much.
And he's been...
That poor bugger had no prior whatsoever. That's a shocker.
And it's Brown for Werribee who will retake the free kick down the line. That's a really good mark by McGrath, who's played a fine game this afternoon. Would definitely be an East's best 5 players at the moment. He's been a really solid lead up forward for them. And he's got the ball on the centre wing now. About to put them back in attack. Umpire has called play on.
Called play on.
Didn't hear it.
Behind.
And Sutton's run 20 or 30 metres from behind, got him, and will win the free kick for the Werribee side.
I hate that.
So it's Sutton now kicks high, long into the forward line, looking for Johnson, and Johnson takes a strong mark with a couple of players around him. Wheels onto the left foot, kicks it very, very high, looking for Carlton. No, it's Johnson. No, not Johnson. What's his name?
Zach
Wilson.
Wilson.
It's Wilson, punched away
Mr.
from him
Wilson.
over the boundary line. It's about 5 or 10 metres around from the point post. Werribee in attack, and they definitely need to take advantage of this wind. We're 10 minutes into the quarter already.
I got some. Where's the ball?
Yeah, it's out the back. I'll just come back
Inverleigh 6-9-45, North 1-5-11, Belpo still 11-8, Belmont 3-3, Thompson 11-3, Anarchy 1-1, Corio 7-3-45, Bannockburn 6-6-42, West 7-6, Winch 2-2.
And North Melbourne 59, Gold Coast 46, Collingwood 48, Fremantle 66 in the AFL. Dragged down there is Will Hoare for the East Geelong side, can't get away. Another ball up, half forward flank, Werribee in attack, and they desperately need some score.
So the ball was tapped out of the contest. Blythe runs onto it, got a handball away into the hands of De Leon. Runs backwards, gave the handball to Miller, put him under a bit of pressure. De Leon got it back again though. Now delivers the ball back to where it's dangerous. The gave the mark is not taken there. Ball comes to the front of the contest. Blythe got the handball out to Hall. Hall goes further to the ruckman there in McLennan, and he goes out wide. And Bosley runs onto the ball. I'll tell you what, he's been held onto there a fair bit.
2 for a half an hour, but he's got it, so fair enough.
Finally paid the free kick. And it's Bosley now looking to look at his options. There's not too many further down the ground, but he goes sideways, coming from behind. Mark is taken there by Berry. He's got options across the ground. He's seen his teammate in Rich, and he goes in that direction. He's got space in front of him now. Can go and go quickly. Goes into the forward line. Lemp comes out, and he has taken the mark. And will go back and kick for goal. So good transfer of play.
Yeah, they've been very impressive into the wind, haven't they? They kick it low and precisely, keep finding teammates.
So Lemper is going, he has some trouble at the scoreboard this afternoon, but an opportunity now. He's going to take one of his better kicks, I would think, from that position. Still a tough kick. He's done that very nicely, guided it.
It's a goal,
I
I
think
reckon.
he has guided it through. Umpire says it is all clear. He has his first, and now the 8th for East Geelong. 8-6. They lead Werribee on 3-5. 12 minutes gone. Third quarter to Granny Cyclone Sports. Third quarter scoreboard.
Well, it all came from a kick downfield. It was a high. It's going to bring rain. And all of a sudden, and the defence just packed into it. 3 or 4 defenders come out. They transferred the ball beautifully. In the first quarter, they did the same. They made a couple of blues, East, with their disposal, which gave Werribee opportunities. But they haven't made any this quarter, which means there haven't been really any opportunities for Werribee to kick goals. Matter of fact, East Geelong are just absolutely killing them all over the ground, except probably in the ruck.
Yeah, definitely. Daly again gets it. Prismal runs onto it, but it's butted up very nicely by Bolitho. He kicks down the line, looking for McGrath. The ball eludes him, but O'Connell, who's had a great game as well, grabs hold of the ball, hand passes in front of himself, eludes a player, breaks away again, kicks beautifully into the true centre-half forward position to Hoare. Hoare kicks long into the forward line, looking for Lemper again. It's tapped away from him, but he gets around on his own, kicks it back into that dangerous spot in front of the square. Coming through is Alouche for Werribee, picks up the crumbs and
2 on 1 here.
Kicks down the line. And Monaghan takes the mark for the East Geelong side. A bit of complaint from Taylor, thinking he was held out of that contest, but the ball's been kicked forward. Alouche passes it, teammate. They dribble it between them over the line. And we have a boundary throw in, but they're under a lot of pressure, the East Werribee defence, and they're actually kicking with the breeze this quarter.
Look,
it's most unusual.
He kicked to a 2 on 1, right? But when you look across the ground, there was nowhere else to go.
Yeah, they're really in trouble. Daly and McLennan. McLennan gets forward. No real winner in the tap out. Miller comes through very hard for Werribee. McLennan butters up, kicks it in the middle of the ground. Looking for gear. The ball bounces around him. Coming over the back of the pack, Mitch Hoare again drops the ball, but butters up again, picks it up Bosley, a neat little kick into the path of McGrath, punched away from him by Yates. He can't get possession. That looked like a push in the back, but Yates butters up very well, kicks down the line, looks for and finds Taylor. Taylor quickly hand passes it to Prismal. Prismal on that ungainly left foot, kicks hard into the forward line. Chest mark dropped there by Nawadi, but Johnson butters up for Werribee, kicks it 20 metres the wrong way to find Prismal. Prismal back to Boyd. Boyd swings round on the right looking for Anthony, who we've hardly called all day. Nawadi comes through, picks up the ball at the back of the pack, evades Anthony's tackle, and then kicks low down in their wing looking for O'Connell. Daly's going to go up in front. He can't take the ball. Bolitho has been very, very good on the ground in this particular game. Long hand pass out to Jacobs. Coming through very hard was Quarrier. Bumps Jacobs out of the road. Hand passes to Crennan. Crennan quickly back to Carlton. Carlton a neat hand pass into Boyd. Boyd chips down looking for a teammate. He goes at it with one hand, punched away from him. Anthony comes in, picks up the ball. He's tackled immediately, and we'll have a ball up. We're only about 25 metres out from their goal, 45-degree angle. They really must score in this passage of play to get themselves back in the game.
I think it should have been bombs away for Boyd. He didn't have a shot from where he was.
Anthony punches forward for Werribee, gets into the really dangerous spot in the air. Coming through is Sutton, but he's behind. McLennan gets the ball to Monaghan. Monaghan hand passes out, releasing Rich. Rich, low little kick down the line, punched away by Yates. Comes to Crennan and picks up the crumbs. A neat little left footer back into the centre of the ground, but Nawadi comes through for East Geelong and takes a relieving mark. Immediately notices his teammate in Gear loose on the half-back flank. Gear can't pick the ball up. It's like a cake of soap, although it shouldn't be. It's over the boundary line, right in front of the social rooms.
I think it's time for a change. I think Anthony back to the back line and either Alish or one of those blokes, give them a run up there because Anthony is just not a forward and one day they're going to work that out.
Ball from the half-forward line is thrown back in, umpire, and it was tapped further afield by Hall, one Hall to another there, and it's going to be picked up. That wasn't sound good, but you know what I meant.
I was feeling for you, Dale. I was trying to help you.
Say? Well, it was. There was two Halls there, and they both got handed to the ball. There was Miles from the contest, got the handball outside. It goes to Carlton. Carlton to Crennan. Crennan looks to get the ball back inside. Touched or smothered, and the ball has gone over the boundary line, and we're going to have a throw-in to take place.
Did you hear the joke about the... I can't tell that. I can't tell that. You start telling them they'll have to hit that dump button, Robert, wherever you are, son.
Keep your finger on the button back there, Alan.
They're thrown back in now by the umpire once again. Johnson front position. McLennan reaches round the side. He's got the ball, kicks a back ball. The ball back towards the boundary line. Crennan got the ball. He's going to put it back into their hot spot at full forward. Mark not taken there by Rich at ground level. Picked up by Anthony. Kicks round the body. But again, not far enough and through for another minor score. So 3-6 now to Werribee. They trail East Geelong on 8-6. We've ticked over 17 minutes.
East Geelong were going to mark that. Yep. His actual teammates balled it and punched it away.
There's a fair bit of work for him to be done in this quarter from the Werribee side, but it's going to be brought back in by Williams, who goes towards McLennan, but chipping across is Ball, so Ball takes a mark. Running player was ignored there, so he's going to look at his option. Johnson's at centre-half back, but he goes longer into a number of players. Out the back, the ball comes. Again, it's going to be picked up by Rich, got the handball out wide. Going there is McIntyre, and it was picked up there and kicked across the face of goal.
I've got a funny feeling they've got no idea.
I think that might have been DeLeon that actually had a shot at the goal then. So it's another minor. So they are peppering, but they're going the wrong place. 3-7 now, 8-6 to East Geelong. And Williams to do some more kicking in duties. He goes straight up the ground. Mark is taken by Gear. Gear transfers across towards Lowe. Needs to take the mark and will. Can play on now. He's got an option further afield. We'll use that player now in O'Connell. Usually he goes, but he just holds things up a little bit.
He should have went because Quarry is not the quickest of all players.
He's got a player further down the field, and again it's going to get to him. Nice kick to Bolitho. Just come back on the ground, tackled from behind now. Oh, he might have been in the space there, Bordeaux. He's umpire says no. It's going to go to Yates anyway. Free kick, and he plays on, goes long.
Look at that. Look at that rubbish.
Now we've got Bolitho at the other end, and he takes the mark, and he's going to go back into the middle of the ground. Sam Lowe, nice kick, hand in there by Linehan Cunningham. Ends in the hands of Miller. His kick was smothered. They win possession back East Geelong, and they go out wide to McGrath. Got around the Taylor coming at him, fended off into the hands of Lowe once again, and they go into the half-forward line. Good hands up there by young Menzies. And he is going to go quickly into the forward line, out towards Hoare, and this is William. And he's on the half-forward line. Umpire says he's gone now. He gets around the player in a lush, kicks back towards the goal square, and a mark will be taken out there, and I'm pretty sure that is Brown. So he decides to play on now. Not too sure where he wants to go with the ball, but he goes back to where the ball came from.
He wanted to come here. There was no one here.
Carlton made space by himself and takes the ball further afield to Anthony. Maybe he's on the progression backwards, mate. I'm not too sure. But he chips the ball inside. Dangerous. Ball turns over. Again, ball to be won. It's tapped back out of the contest. Coming through. Picked up McLennan. Got the handball away. Goes to McIntyre. Got in and out of trouble. Handball was good. Gear goes back into their forward line. Looking for and will find McGrath. Takes a mark. Did that nicely. So McGrath now has the ball just outside there. Forward 50. Running player, he's going to go wide. He's going to go looking for O'Connell, and that's a nice strong mark. I think he was going to attempt about going off, thinking about going off then as well, and he's going to go back now and kick for goal. So
he's another one who's played very well, O'Connell, all day, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah, good game all day. They got about 13 or 14. You can say played a good game. Werribee got 4 or 5, and that's the difference in the two sides at the moment. That and the way they're disposing of the football.
Yeah, they played a really good style of footy, haven't they? They really know the game well, but particularly going low and into the wind, and very impressive to watch.
I think it's a game that suits St Albans. A little bit like Belpost Hill's game. It suits St Albans. I said when Sean was here, they're going to be a player this year, this mob.
So he comes in now, O'Connell. He has 3 for the afternoon. He just chips at the ball. That didn't come off the boot too well. Yates has done that nicely. Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't. It was
Brown.
Brown once again. He brings the ball back out towards Linan Cunningham. Didn't take the mark. De Leon swoops on the ball. Got the handball away into the hands there of Prismal. He goes long into the forward line.
One home.
No, it's going to run back towards the boundary line. Belitho leads in the race for the ball. Has got time. Can come back to our side of the ground, and he fans low. He's got plenty of space. Rich is further afield, but he goes back and short and will find Williams. So they've done that nicely. They get numbers back. Now they've got plenty of options further afield, sideways and backwards. That's the way they're going to go. Tamar's out wide, and he can go along the boundary line. Rich goes at him. Kick will need to be good, okay, because Rich takes the mark.
He's been pretty good too.
Richie?
He has.
Richie Rich, short to low. Oh, we have to stop and wait, and Harburger arrives and taps the ball over the boundary line.
But that's fine. They've been doing that all day, right? They've been putting little passes in like that. At this level of football, every single one of them can't come off. So there's one that didn't.
Ball thrown back in. McLennan does win the tap.
Look at that for a shepherd. Beautiful.
To McIntyre. He hand passes to a teammate. He's quickly brought down. I've just noticed, guys, Jaden Fanning has not come back on the ground since that earlier incident.
I didn't think he would there.
Yeah.
I thought there's something wrong with his leg. There's not a doubt about that.
Yeah, so he's in a bit of trouble. I just realised he wasn't there. Anthony wins the tap out against McLennan, punches it forward. Quarrier hand passes into De Leon, but he's tackled by 2 East Geelong players, dragged to the ground. We'll have another ball up. They just can't break away. The scoreboard is not getting any closer for them. They've got a hell of a gap at the moment. It's 54 to 25. I can see on the scoreboard at a quick glance. Anthony again whacks it forward. Carlton this time runs on the ball, kicks quickly across the body, coming out trying to defend very hard for East Geelong there. Johnson for Werribee trying to get hold of the ball. Hand passed across to Monaghan. He kicks down the line but can't get it past Quarrier, and he takes the relieving mark. Centre wing for Werribee, kicks into the pocket, and coming out to take the mark is Sutton on the far side of the ground. Sutton looking for options up forward. Finally a big long roost right at the end of the square, punched away from the back of the pack. Rich again does a very good job. Gets it across to McIntyre. McIntyre another low, neat kick out to Belitho. He can't win the ball and it's out of bounds. Half forward flank for Werribee. They desperately need a score out of this little foray. We're 23 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment third quarter.
They're just doing it all wrong. They go in for a big high kick and their biggest bloke's 12 metres in front of the pack.
So the ball comes out of the contest, and I think it's Crennan who was taken in a tackle and brought to ground. And the umpire comes in and will take possession not too far from the East Geelong goal. The ball's thrown in once again, and Lowe has it. Tries to wriggle out of the contest, goes to Mars.
Paid on the ball, throwing the ball.
To throw. And it looks like Prismal will have an opportunity to go back and kick his second goal of the afternoon.
There's a bit stiff there. I've seen quite a few of them today that have been let go and play on. He might have been a little bit unlucky. And the free kick was there, but might have been a little unlucky.
Prismal has got one for the afternoon. And he won't have any trouble with the distance here. Accuracy. He chips at the ball. That was straight through the middle. He has his second. And they move now to 4-7. They trail East Geelong on 8-6. We have gone just over 24 minutes, third quarter to Granny Cycling Sports, third quarter scoreboard.
Look, when you look at young Prismal, he's getting a bit older now, and he doesn't get as much of the ball that he used to. But when he does get it, and in situations like that, he shows that he's a class player. You probably need him to get it a little bit more, but if he's not going to get it more, get it to him. Because, they've been absolutely thrashed in this quarter. And it's probably the premiership quarter, really, with East Geelong going to have the wind in the last.
23 points behind Werribee, desperately needing some goals as we close in on the end of the third quarter. Daly again taps it towards Miles. He can't control it. Carlton can't get it either. Bolitho has been very, very busy. Gets the ball across and finds Low in amongst a nest of Werribee players.
50. He nearly put the whistle up to the lips and said no.
Very, very close indeed against Boyd. Low now gets around on his ungainly right foot. Kicks across looking for Jacobs, but the mark has been taken there by Ball. Ball gets it across to Crennan. He kicks Low down the line looking for Leonard. Goes over the back of the him. Low again picks up the ball, runs it over the boundary line. In front of the social club rooms here at East Geelong, they're leading by 23 points, and we are 25 and a half minutes into the De Grande Cycle and Sport third quarter here. Ball's thrown in again very neatly over the back by McLennan. Gets it across to Low to Williams. Williams kicks across ground, but coming through to take a mark there is Blake Taylor for the Werribee side. He's probably within kicking distance with this wind at his back, and he said, well, bugger it, rather than kick it down there and have it come back again, I'm going to have a shot at goal myself. And that's exactly what the young fella's going to do. He's going to kick from just on or outside the 50-metre mark. He's got a really good hold of it. It's gone a long way, but it's landed just near the behind post in the arms of Ryan Rich for the East Geelong side, and he's going to take a relieving kick out of defence. The Eagles have done a particularly good job this afternoon. Ryan Rich has been one of their good players as well. He's kicked down the line, punched away from McGrath by Yates over the boundary line. Another throw-in. We'll have true half-forward flank for the Werribee side. 26 and a half minutes now. They still aren't in front using this breeze in the third quarter, and I can't see them being able to hold East Geelong in the last quarter the way they're playing.
They're not going to go within 2 or 3 goals by three-quarter time.
The ball thrown back in by the umpire, and again from the contest. Gear works the ball out of the contest, but it's picked up by Boyd. Was thinking of his options inside, but then decided to go long back towards goal, but he's off line through for a minor score. And that is now 4-8 for the Werribee side, 8-6 to East Geelong. Just waiting for the ball to come back.
Boyd wanted to go over here, where East Geelong have kicked their goals when they've had loose players. And they've got 4 or 5 blokes just standing together, not moving. He had nowhere to go, so he had to have a shot himself.
So Williams short from the back line, goes to the back pocket. Bolitho, he takes the mark. This is Josh. He chips the ball further around the boundary line. Good kick. Berry, space by himself in front of the club rooms. So he just manoeuvre the ball from that position. Call the play on now. He got himself in and out of trouble pretty nicely there, and then kicks the ball towards centre wing. Mark is not taken, but the running player Jacobs couldn't take clean possession of the ball. Ends up in the hands of Ball. Goes back to Harburger. Harburger delivers the ball back inside 50 and going back. Miller.
Too far out for him.
Yeah, no consideration for his body there, but he put himself in the mark, and that's a great lead up. And Linehan Cunningham, who has been pushed forward, comes up and takes the mark.
Well, Paddy Daly copped one high and was pretty aggrieved that he didn't get the free kick. But I can tell you, Paddy, it was the ball that hit you in the head, mate. Nobody's hand. It was the ball hit him in the head on the way through.
So Linehan Cunningham has been pushed forward. It looks like he's going to kick long towards goal. I tell you, it's a nice looking kick off the boot, but it is just off line and through for a minor score. So it's 4-9 now to Werribee and 8-6 to East Geelong.
So, ticks away. Williams for East Geelong runs out of the square. Kicks long to the half-back flank, pack up. Linehan Cunningham can't control the ball at the front. Coming through is Monaghan for East Geelong. He can't get it out of there. Grabbed, and the umpire deems another ball up will take place. It was Big Daly, who finished, laid that tackle. Daly and McLennan again. McLennan that time might have had the most of it. No one really gets it away. Miles, hand pass across, intercepted by Jacobs. The ball comes out to Gear. Gear kicks down the forward line looking for Belitho. It comes across to him. Should have been a free kick for chopped arms. Yeah. Menzies does a really good job. Gets the ball quickly on his foot out into the path of Bosley. Bosley hand passes it back to Menzies. Siren sounds. It's three-quarter time. Werribee have had 2 uses of the breeze, and they find themselves 21 points behind at three-quarter time. That was the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter. Dale, goal kickers, please.
Yes, goal kickers three-quarter time. Fraser O'Connell has 3, 1 each to Will Hoare, McGrath, Bosley, Lemper and Belitho Michael. And for the Werribee side, 2 to Prismal, 1 to Leonard and 1 to Yates. So we'll take a short break when we come back. Final quarter action here at East Geelong. We are listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
The last quarter, brought to you by Morris Finance.
Morris Finance is the last quarter coverage of this GDFL match of the day at the Oswald Plumbing and Civic Oval at East Geelong, where the home side lead by 21 points. They have what has been described as a 4 to 5 goal breeze to come home with, so the game almost looks assured. Grubby, Werribee any chance at all the way they're playing?
No, not a chance in the world. The only chance is that the win is no longer a 5-goal win. I still think it's probably 3, but it has dropped a little bit, and it's started to swirl. It's not just hooling down one end anymore. That's their own salvation that they've got to talk about. But that performance in that quarter was one of the worst performances I've seen Werribee Central's play for a long time. They just banged the ball in. They had a big bloke named Johnson down in full forward. He'd come out to about 30 metres in front of goal, and they banged it 10 metres behind him 3 or 4 times. And every time the ball hit the ground, where Wilson and Boyd and Carlton and all that usually pick it up and get a goal, every single time the defence of East Geelong just grabbed hold of the ball and brought it out. And when they brought it out, they didn't just blaze away like Werribee were doing. There were precision kicks to here, to there, all the way up the ground. Kicked the first 2 goals of the quarter with brilliant position kicking. And as I said during the call, this type of game they're playing suits St Albans ground in the finals, and they will be a player. Werribee, on the other hand, that was a disgraceful quarter, and somehow... look, they honestly played better against the wind in the second quarter than they did in either of the first and the third. And now they've got to pull something right out of the fire to even just get close to East Geelong. But East Geelong, I think, will win this game. And Werribee Centrals, who have got Inverleigh next week, could go down 2 in a row. So that last kick after the siren can turn out pretty handy last week. And Werribee Centrals will no longer sit in second position on the ladder. And they'll be back in the mix fighting for the 4th and 5th spot.
Yep.
And they deserve to be after that quarter.
And this is the beauty of this new evened-up competition, is that things can change so quickly. We talked about it during the week. I made a bold statement that the final 5 is already set. The order will change as time goes on, but I think the 5 that are in there are a little bit better than the ones that are out. And
well, I don't think so.
We're certainly seeing it today from East Geelong.
I'm not sure it is. I just think West can still get there, and I think Thompson can still get. They'll be players. They're not far behind. They need some percentage, which I'll read some scores out in a minute. But, no, I don't think it's set yet. I don't know who'll go out. But I think you've got to count Thompson and West still in the mix to play finals this year, I believe.
You mentioned during the call, I think one of the highlights of the game today for me has been the evenness of the East Geelong players right across the ground. It's a really good team performance.
Well, I think that you can probably name 13 or 14 players in their best, with Werribee got half a dozen. And that's the difference, plus the disposals. That's the difference in the game, the way they play. You watch this quarter, somehow they drag Werribee up, and then when they go in, they've got 2 or 3 blokes on the other side. And Boyd, a couple of times in this last quarter, he grabbed it, he looked to see, well, that's where we're playing. There ain't no one there because Werribee aren't playing that game, and they're not playing good football. But I think I better do these before we go too far. Inverleigh 9.63, North 3.5.23, Belpost Hill 13.11.89, Belmont 3.5.23, Thompson 15.6.96 to Anarchy 1.17, Corio 8.3.51 now, Trail Banno 12.7.79, and West 8.7.55 against Winch 4.2.26. So 4 goals, which I think Winch might have the win in the last quarter. So that one might not be over just yet.
With the wind, the way it's blowing here straight down the middle of this ground, that would mean it would be blowing straight across the West Oval, wouldn't it, Dale?
Exactly.
Don't ask me.
Exactly.
You're the
exactly,
local
that's
icon.
the way it goes.
That's what I reckon too. So there's probably no wind advantage there at all. It just makes it a messy afternoon of footy. So this is the Morris Finance final quarter. 21-point lead to the East Geelong side. They kick with the breeze, and I reckon if they can get one really quick, which they'll be desperately trying to do, that will just about end the contest. Umpires just waving a few spectators off the ground, otherwise all ready to go. Dale Smith, call the action, please.
Umpire holds the ball off, and we are ready to start the final quarter. Just waiting for the umpire to, or the timekeepers to get themselves ready. KO's in the box, and now he reaches across and pushes a siren. And it's going to be game on here. So last quarter, some action about to start. Ball from Daly comes to cross, ends up picking up the ball, working through the middle was Carter, got the handball away, went towards McIntyre. Belitho, Michael, and he picks the ball up. He is tackled, and he won't get out of there. Umpire swits around the outside, but he's going to ask for the ball back. And he's going to start play once again. So Lemper works up off the ground, bit of mud in the arm, so he clears that ball into the hands of Belitho, goes in long towards their forward. Running under the ball was Bosley, out the back. Player waits for it, was a lush, but he just waited probably a bit too long now. Picked up there, and Brown does nicely, got away from his opponent, and kicks the ball back outside 50, going back as ball, and he takes the mark. Got the handball to Miller. Miller on the march through the middle, kicks into the slot. Unfortunately, it was a poorly guided kick, and it runs across the towards centre wing, picked up there, Lemper. Handball was brought to ground, and they try to continue to push the ball forward. They've been able to achieve it so far until Crennan got in the road. Now he loses possession of the ball, picked up, goes to McLennan, and he looks to drive the ball long into the forward line. Hall out the back, had it, goes back and collects it once again, picked up there, has support, and it was McGrath, got it over the top, but it was Harburger that intercepted the ball. Goes out wide to De Leon, look for Anthony. He picks the ball up, kicks wide, and probably too wide, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full. Free kick going to Lowe out there on the far side of the ground. So he's just waiting for that ball to come back in. Oh no, it's going to be a ball up, is it? I thought it was out of bounds in the full. So there you go. Had me fooled, and probably a few others as well, I think.
And me.
Yep, ball thrown back in now by the umpire. Out the back, ball comes in front of the contest. Good hands there from Carlton to Miller around the boundary line. And again, this time the ball goes back over the boundary line, so another throw-in to take place.
So Daly and McLennan again. Daly has not conceded too many hit-outs. McLennan gets his hand on that one into the path of Bolitho, but comes out of the back of the pack. Very cleverly done there by Carter to bring it back into the path of Bolitho. He can't get away. Cleverly done there by McGrath. Back to Lemper. Lemper bursts through the pack, tries to get a kick into it, but he's didn't quite get boot to ball as Miller dragged him to the ground, and the veteran Werribee midfielder, who today is playing more half-back and playing particularly well, wins the ball, kicks the ball out onto the wing, looking for a teammate there. It's O'Connell, who's had a ripper day, pardons the ball over the back of the pack, tries to run under it, but he's been forced over the boundary line. And we'll have another throw-in on the clubroom side of the ground. Home side leading by 21 points, and we are about 5 minutes into the, 3 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. Over the back, Lowe gets it. Quick kick across his body, coming out, dropping the mark is Leonard. He's tackled very quickly when he picks the ball up again from Miller.
A disgraceful decision.
He's been deemed to have held the ball too long or got rid of it incorrectly, not quite sure, but he didn't really have much of a chance to do
whatsoever,
anything else.
And they've done that a few times today, and I think they've been below par, the umpires.
Hugh Menzies, the youngster for East Geelong, kicks the ball into the forward line looking for McGrath. Leonard comes through, Anthony comes through, tries to get the ball over the pack, can't do so. O'Connell's been penalised for holding the ball there. Yes, it's a Werribee free kick against O'Connell, and that seemed a little unusual. But
I'll watch that one on the video because it's a long way away, but that looked like another poor decision for holding the ball. You've got to get it right.
So it's Brown for Werribee, kicks it across and finds Sablich, best player last week. Hardly called his name today. He kicks out on the half-back flank. It's Brown who's got the ball now, so it must have been Alish who had it before. Brown's had the ball ripped off him by Hall, but unfortunately...
Now that's the no prior.
Geelong, the umpire had already called for a ball up, and they lose their momentum. So McLennan and Daly, again, McLennan this time almost palms it to himself across to Hall. Lowe comes in to pick it up, but Carlton and he escort the ball over the boundary line. Still 21-point lead to East Geelong. We're 5 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter. Ball thrown in again. The big ruckman go at it. Daly down at the front this time. Bolitho, who's been a sensational little player for East Geelong today, wins the ball across to Williams, who gets it across to Lowe, kicks into the forward line, looking for Carter, but punched away from him. Another boundary throw in. This time it's half forward flank. East Geelong into attack.
So on the half forward line, ruckman work their way down.
Interesting battle. McLennan's done a bit of round the ground work. Daly hardly any, but he certainly won the hit outside of it.
Yeah, again, McLennan now trying to get front position, gets it there, taps it back, goes towards Crennan, got the handle over the top, ball, picks the ball up, kicks towards centre wing, 2-on-1, spoil from behind, ball comes to ground, Lowe's there, over the top of the ball, picked up by Rich, got the handball out, and ends up in the hands of Mars. Mars just got boot the ball into the hands of Hawke, couldn't pick it up cleanly. Bolitho's there also, and he was tackled without the ball, says the umpire. And free kick will go to Bolitho, and it's Michael. And he looks to deliver the ball into their forward line, goes quickly. Bosley over the top, the ball comes. That was nicely trapped by McGrath, got the handball away, outside to McIntyre. Ball intercepted there. Alush gets the ball back outside 50, but the mark is going to be taken by Mars once again. He started the game really nicely, Mars, and maybe a little bit quiet through the third quarter, but he's got the hands on it again now, goes back into the forward pocket, goes towards his teammate there in O'Connell, who has 3 for the afternoon. But the ball runs over the boundary line. A throw in to take place. umpire now throws the ball back in. Front position was held, but it's Alush, I think, that comes away with the ball. His kick outside 50 mark is taken by Leonard. Leonard decides to transfer the ball across the ground. Was okay. Into the hands of Ball, got the handball away to Prismal. The handball wasn't great, but Prismal made it okay. Into the hands of Sablich, and he runs and kicks the ball long. Johnson has to mark the ball because he's got numbers around him, and they're not all his teammates, it's all East Geelong. So East Geelong through gear now, got the handball from Rich, goes towards Lowe, has a look, little chip up over the top, and the mark will be taken. No, it was good work there from Miller, who got across and spoiled the ball.
Oh, he's played deliberate.
This is the umpire, and a free kick's going to go to Werribee. They bring the ball along the boundary line again towards Miles. Went back and collected, got in and out of trouble.
Gone.
Was tackled.
Gone.
And the
Hold
ball is out. Picked up. Umpire now allows the player to go on a gear. Goes into the forward line to Bosley. Ball gets out the back. Anthony and also Brown. They run towards it. Both players left it back there. That was nice work there. Went back to the goal square. Alush needs to do a little bit of smart work here. Got the handball to Anthony. Went inside and outside. Little chip short. Crennan, look out.
Oh, he put his body. He got hurt too.
Yep. Ball comes over the top. Ends up in the hands of Brown, who delivers the ball towards Bald, and he comes up and takes the mark. So Bald just in the half-back line for the Werribee side. Chips the ball back inside, goes looking towards Sutton. He's taken the ball. Ball comes out in the contest, sits underneath him now. Did the right thing, turned himself around, and the umpire will come in and take possession of the ball. So it'll be thrown up by the umpire. McLennan pushes his opposition ruckman out of the contest, went towards O'Connell, picked up there Lemper, looked for the handball backwards, went back to Lowe, little short chip. Kick was just a little bit too much weight on it and ends up in the hands of Miller. So Miller now has Crennan wide.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not too sure where he's going, but let's hope that his mate Yates takes the mark, but he didn't. Picked up there nicely again by Menzies, moves nicely, got the handball back inside to Hoare. And this is Mark, got the ball out wide, and it's a nice looking kick, ends up in the hands of Bosley. Now Bosley, I think he thinks he can kick the distance from there. He's going to take his time.
Yeah, he'd want to, because he's missed a couple of shorter options.
He's
right in the centre of the ground.
He's allowed to. He's a coach.
Even Carter, look at Carter standing by himself in the space, but he's going to go back. Bosley, left footer, so he sits at the top of the goals here.
I tell you
left-hand post.
They kicked a lot of goals in the seconds from this position, so I think it's not a bad spot to have a shot at.
So Bosley steps in now. A little bit of a shuffle in the run, but that never looked like kicking the goal, and is through for a minor score.
While they're getting the ball back, Grubby, there's been a lot of talk about young Hugh Menzies. He's got an interesting choice. If he's wanting to play in a Colts premiership, I think he should change his focus, because he would be very much part of the best 22 in this side that looks the goods. McLennan's taken a chest mark from that kick in at true centre-half forward.
I don't give him the opportunity. You play where you're told to play.
And lovely little kick by McLennan finds Hoare on the lead. That is Will. And he'll be kicking from about 40 metres out, slightly less than a 45-degree angle. And if the fat lady hasn't already started to warm up, she most certainly will if this kicks straight. So Hoare comes in, gets underneath it. It's a chip fading across the face of goal. And another minor score to the home side. That takes their lead, I think, to 23 points. And we are 10 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter here at Oswide Plumbing and Civil Oval.
Be careful, don't say anything, Smitty's mum's listening, remember.
Long kick down the middle of the ground, coming over the back of the pack, almost marking is Williams. It's Jacobs, picks up the crumbs. His little kick runs into the forward line. A couple of players overrun it. Eventually Sablich comes out, drops it onto his foot. Williams comes through, kicks the ball across the ground and finds Lemper. Lemper would need to be very, very careful.
50-metre penalty. He didn't call play on, did he?
He must have. Because,
he must have.
His teammates were pretty quiet then. They didn't let him know about that, but he was run down from behind, lost the ball. Wilson, who's been very, very quiet today for Werribee, kicks the ball forward.
That's 50.
But coming out and taking a mark is Bolitho for East Geelong. He kicks it in the middle of the ground. A beautiful kick lands onto the chest of O'Connell, who's had a fine game. It's a lovely kick from him, overrunning the back of the pack. Jacobs runs onto the ball, misses it. Hoare comes through for East Geelong. Left-footed kick, looking for his coach, Bosley. Goes up, can't take the mark. tries to get the crumb. The ball's run over the back of the pack. And young Hugh Menzies, who I just mentioned before, runs through and dribbles through the 9th goal for East Geelong for the afternoon. 1 point only. Oh, it's hit the post. Must have thought it was a goal and then changed his mind because the boundary umpire was swooping on it and heading back to the middle of the ground. But it's been deemed a point, and Anthony will come back down and kick the ball back in for the Werribee side.
By the way, I will correct you, Rob. The fat lady sang about 8 minutes into the third quarter. That's when she started singing. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, big pack goes up. Daly can't take the mark coming through. He butters up, gets a handball between the legs of Miles. McLennan, his direct opponent, picks up the crumb but can't break through as he's tackled to the ground. And we'll have another ball up right on the 50-metre arc directly out from the East Geelong goal. McLennan lays it into the path of Bolitho. He can't run to it. Williams now gets it. He gets it across to Monaghan. Monaghan back in the direction of a teammate there in Berry. Sorry. Berry kicks down the line to Williams. He kicks along down the middle of the ground. Menzies, the front of the pack, can't hold the ball. Comes over the back to Quarrier. Quarrier to Harburger. Harburger over runs it, picks it up and neatly kicks it into the path of Sutton. He can't hang on to the ball. McLennan gets a touch of the fumbles. Yates bursts through. The umpire says he was taken high, and the big, strong left footer gets the ball and kicks down. Punched away from Wilson by Rich. Tackled immediately to the ground with the crumb. The umpire deems he was dragged down. That's Mitchell Lush, and he's been put forward and Anthony put back, which is exactly what Grubby suggested they should do some time ago. And it's Mitchell Lush now. Runs out on the right foot. Kicks into the hot spot. Coming out to take the mark is Johnson, and he indeed, after 3 or 4 juggles at it, takes the mark in front of Nawati, and will have a shot for goal probably from about 38 metres when the ball hits his foot. And he's kicking still into what's probably a slightly eased wind.
What worries me is he'll kick it high.
And if he does, it might blow back over his head. So Johnson now, very precise, gets close to the man on the mark, kicks it long and kicks it a little offline, fades away to the right-hand side. Certainly had the distance well and truly covered. So I'd say that wind has dropped away a little bit. And it is Josh Bolitho for the East Geelong side has the ball in the goal square,
and believe it or
waiting
not,
to bring it in.
We've got the close one. We've got the close one. Winch are gone.
So Bolitho now runs his full measure and kicks a very wobbly, ugly drop punt, which goes out of bounds on the full, just over the top of the Werribee coach's box, and it'll come straight back at him. Looks like Sablich, who has the ball on the half-forward flank for the Werribee side. Looking for options, not a lot there, many players covered, so he just drops it up into the hot spot. Coming out, trying to mark is Johnson, punched away by Rich. Leonard gets it, kicks it straight back into space. Hall comes onto the ball for East Geelong, gets it across to Monaghan. He's immediately tackled, thrown to the ground by Yates. And this is another one of my very confusing things about sling tackles.
Well, they've played them earlier in the year.
Yeah, I mean, if that hits him on the head and he gets knocked out, he probably gets 2 weeks. In this particular case, nothing happens. I don't quite get it. Anyway, it's thrown up. McLennan gets the ball out of the ruck. He's immediately tackled. Can't break away, and the umpire is going to ball it up again. It's a very, very slow-moving game at the moment. The winner is assured. We're just going through the motions at the 15-minute mark. Johnson wins the ball out of the ruck. He too tries to break away. McLennan grabs him, drags him immediately to the ground. Yeah, I thought Grubby he had a little opportunity that he didn't take then.
Jump back into the pack to try and split the pack. That's your prior opportunity.
Yeah.
They've got it wrong all day, these blokes, I reckon.
Over the back of the pack, it's Bolitho Jr. who comes through, Michael that is, who's played particularly well and will be vying for the Yards Hotel Best Player Award, I reckon, that young fella.
No, he won't.
Oh, well, I reckon he will. I'll get 3 votes as well. Anyway, the ball's going to go straight back into the forward line. Sutton tries to take the mark. Coming across to relieve pressure for the East Geelong side as Williams is dragged out of his arms. And again, a ball up. This time only 15 metres out directly in front of Werribee's goal. Sutton and McLennan go up. Sutton drags McLennan out of the action, grabs the ball, has a shot for goal. But the umpire said, no, son, you can't do that. And Tim McLennan, who has battled very hard despite being beaten in the ruck, gets the free kick, which he handballs across to Williams. Williams kicks down the line, and McGrath, who's taken many of those lead-up marks this afternoon, gets another one. A neat little kick for him, looking for Jacobs, coming in as Quarrier cuts it off. De Leon tries very hard. Jacobs grabs it, gets it back with a hand pass, but it's intercepted by Quarrier. He hand passes to Crennan. Crennan gets it quickly on to Miller. Miller kicks down the line, but over the head of Wilson, who's had a very, very sour day in the forward pocket for the Werribee side. He loses possession, and it's McIntyre, another very serviceable player for East. Wins the ball, kicks it right across the ground, looking for Nawati and finding him on the opposite half-back flank. Once again looking for options, kicks it in the middle of the ground and coming out to take the mark. There for East Geelong is Mark Hoare. He plays on, kicks long and high down the line, looking for a teammate there in Lemper, but it's Yates who's done a pretty good job for Werribee this afternoon. He gets the ball across to Linehan Cunningham. He gets it back to Yates. Yates kicks high into the forward line looking for Miles. Can't take the mark. Over the back of the pack comes Williams. Clearing dash for the East Geelong side. Looking for McGrath down the line. He comes over the back of the pack. Can't hold the mark. Menzies runs onto the ball. Picks it up. Hand passes out in the path of Bolitho, but Crennan intercepts. Gets it across to Yates. The big fella takes a bounce. Runs round the wing. Kicks a low left footer into the forward line. Coming across, relieving is Rich. He can't hold the mark, but gets it to Monaghan. Monaghan to Jacobs. He bursts through the pack. Sees an opening on the opposite side. Oh no, it's Jacobs who's got the ball, so that must have been Monaghan who kicked it across to him. Both very blonde-headed young fellas playing for the East Geelong side. Looking for Bosley, bounces over his head. He grabs hold of Brown.
He saw it too,
and the umpire saw that little grab of the jumper, and Brown for Werribee Centrals will take the free kick.
Just got a text from one of the greatest goal umpires of all time, Fraser Brady. Good on you for listening, champ.
Kicks it down the line and Bald takes the mark for Werribee. Another neat little kick for him finds De Leon. Werribee mounting something here in a manner they probably should have tried a little bit earlier. That's somewhat spoilt with a big high kick into the middle of nowhere, but taking a very strong mark is Yates. Yates turns around very quickly, finds Wilson. Wilson has a snap for goal in close and has missed to the right-hand side. So his dirty day continues, and it's 1 point. The scoreboard now is 57-35, 22-point lead to the home side, and we are 19 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter.
I'll tell you something, you've said dirty day and all that for a while for Wilson, but by geez, I've got to defend him. The ball's coming in badly,
well,
3
that
on to 1.
To the dirty day. Just things haven't gone right.
It's not all his fault, the kid, I can tell you that now.
Williams brings the ball in. It gets to the half-back line. Naiwati's there. Monaghan also. Naiwati puts his head over the ball, goes back and collects it, tries to shrug himself out of the contest. He's able to free the ball out only as far as Crennan. Crennan looks back inside. Not too sure who he's looking at, but he's got it to Bald. Picked up there by Leonard. Once again goes back towards goal, and that is a better finish. Benny Leonard had his second goal of the afternoon, and now the fifth for the Werribee side. They are 5-11 and they trail East Geelong 8 goals 9. We have gone almost 20 minutes. Final quarter, Morris Finance final quarter scoreboard.
Yeah, look, really good play. and you always stop and think, gee, why couldn't they have played a little bit better early on in the game? But for the true fact of the matter is, I think East Geelong have taken the foot off the pedal a little bit. The pressure's dropped away a little bit. They've done all the hard work. They've been the best side all day. They've dropped away a little bit, and that makes Werribee's job a little bit easier. And I would have rather seen them get beat by a little bit more and just go down and say, right, we were poor today. And if they kick another one and get close, you just go, oh, we weren't that bad. Well, I'm telling you, they are that bad today.
So the ball back in the middle of the ground. It's picked up. Hall got the handball away only as far as Crennan. Crennan gets the ball back into towards their forward line. Williams read it nicely off the boot, picks it up and goes with a torpedo into the half forward line, but Alush is there. Can't take the mark. Went through Bosley's hands. Got a bit of body. I think he threw that out, but he got away with it nicely. And it ends up in the hands of Crennan once again. He couldn't take it. Picked up by Will Hall. Got the handball away to Low. Goes back inside. Goes towards Bosley. Bosley's got the spoil on. Ball out the back now. That's a race by foot. Kicked off the ground there by Harburger. Only as far as O'Connell. Got the handball away again. The numbers with the Werribee side, but they've turned the ball over. Ends up in the hands of Gear. He's got young player there in Menzies who was leading at him, but he goes back in towards the centre half forward position. Wasn't taken cleanly there by Quarrier. Ball runs back towards the boundary line, and now it has been forced over and will be thrown back into the field of play.
Not everyone will be surprised, but Fremantle have beaten Collingwood by 2 goals, and North Melbourne have upset Gold Coast in the 2 AFL games. So I don't think they would have started at favourites, either of those two. So well done to the underdogs.
The ball thrown back in by the umpire. Again, over the top, Daly gets the ball down. And it's only going to travel as far as Carlton. Got the handball towards his teammate there in Prismal. Got it towards Crennan. Crennan kick was smothered again. Picked up by McIntyre. He looks to get in and out of trouble and did that nicely. Goes back towards Rich. He will end up with the football. He transfers play across the ground. Nice kick because Blytho comes up from defence and takes the mark. So Blytho, this is Josh looking for his options further afield. Goes towards Bosley out in the lead. That was a nice kick, but Brown did nicely. Got the ball down. Picked up by Mark Hall. Hall tried to get the handball away. Umpire said that was incorrect disposal. And it will go back to Brown. And he is a recipient of the free kick. So Brown looking across the ground now. It's okay. Mark will be taken out there. Carlton picks the ball up and he goes further afield. Crennan still in space by himself and he goes out longer towards centre wing. And it's wide and too wide. Umpire says it's gone out of bounds in the full, so free kick will go to the East Geelong side this time. So he's asked to play on now by the umpire. A little bit of candy sold. Gets around the player on the mark. Goes back into the half-forward line through the hands of O'Connell and runs back towards the boundary line. Kicked off the ground. Worked it nicely there. Ends up in the hands of Lemper now, who delivers the ball back towards the full forward position. Menzies in front. Spoiled from behind there by Harburger. Going back is Anthony. He can pick the ball up. A little bit of time. Tried to fend off, but walks over the boundary line. Oh, he says it's deliberate, says the umpire. And the free kick is going to go to East Geelong. Already put that ball on the ground there, so
that's 50. Bring him. You got to bring him right in front up. If you're going to make one stuff up, you might as well correct it with another.
Yeah, he hasn't given the second one, but anyway, handball's been given to Bosley, and he was going to be playing on there, but the umpire wasn't watching, so it's going to go back to I think it's O'Connell who's got the ball. He's in the pocket. He can run around, but he decides to go backwards towards Lowe. He picks the ball up. Oh, and now is he driven in the back? No, umpire said it's either dropping the ball, a free kick in the back, but the umpire's allowed it to go on. And now players will be called to give the umpire the ball. So Menzies is going to do some ruck work here. Daly, front position. He taps the ball out. Picked up. Menzies did nicely. Back to Lowe. Lowe goes back towards the goal square. Has a distance, accuracy is not there, and it's out of bounds on the full. So we tick towards 24 minutes of the final quarter. It is 8-9 East Geelong. They lead Werribee 5-10. Morris Finance final quarter scoreboard.
Out in the full. Actually on the roof of the canteen. Can you believe that kick? Well, he's gone from forward to back, and I think maybe the twos. A terrible performance. How can you kick it out in the full, landed on the roof of the canteen? That's just shocking footy.
Yes,
it just typifies the way they've played today. I think.
They've been offbeat. It's a bit like a couple other games I've watched on the weekend.
Yes, exactly. There's a trend.
Well, I just hope that's all it is.
Oh, I think it is. We've seen them at their best. They're not going to lose that in a week. It's just been one of those days. But we have learnt that East Geelong are probably better than we thought. They're a very, very good team. Bosley's kick is long, but it's also out of bounds on the full, in the forward pocket. And Werribee will win the ball back. Mitchell Luce, who's had a bit back, had a bit forward. Now he's back again. We're getting towards the end of this game. It's 25 minutes on the Morris Finance scoreboard. The score is 57-41, a 16-point lead by East Geelong, and I reckon that flatters Werribee a little bit, or in fact quite a lot. Luce comes back in. The pack goes very, very high. No one can bring the ball to the ground. It finally gets there. Daly wraps up his opponent in a tackle. The umpire says we'll have another ball up.
My worry is that last week I thought they were ordinary, and we're very, very lucky to get the win at home.
And, so that's two not-so-goods in a way, but they've got 4 points. They certainly won't get 4 today unless a miracle happens.
Well, unless they improve, they'll never get 4 next week either.
Who will they get next week?
Inverleigh.
Oh, dear. So it comes over the back of the pack, bursting through, trying to get out is Bosley. He's knocked out of the way again. Pack of players get on the ball. Leonard tries to burst through. He can't make his way through the pack, and we're going to have another ball up. McLennan this time taps it to himself, immediately grabbed. Miles rips it out of his hands. He can't get anywhere. Players bobbling around anywhere. Low quickly hand pass across to Williams. Williams ugly left foot forward. And Sam Brown uses his body and elbows well, eases his opponent under the ball quite legally and takes a very, very nice mark. That is also a pretty ordinary crick out in the path of Quarrier. Jacob does a good job.
Yeah,
I said crick. I got crick.
That's like a river.
It's like a little river. The ball comes down over the back of the pack is Carlton. Monaghan gets the ball, but the siren goes and some very, very happy Werribee players. East Geelong players embrace in front of us. This was a game they clearly set themselves for. They've set a new standard for themselves and sent a warning to the rest of the competition. Grubby Cations has picked up on that warning. We'll learn a little bit more about that shortly. But Dale Smith, tell us the goal kickers and something like the right score that we can report.
I've got the final score at 8 goals, 9 for the East Geelong, 4 and 5-11 to Werribee. Goal kickers for the home side was O'Connell with 3, 1 each to Hoare, McGrath, Bosley, Lemper and Belitho, and that was Michael. And for the Werribee side, Prismal and Leonard both with 2 and 1 to Yates.
It's been a very, very impressive performance by East Geelong. They faded late in the game, but as I said, and Grubby picked up on it, we have a new serious contestant for a grand final position. At least I would have thought, Grubby, did you really like what you saw?
Look, I did, but I still can't. I just still can't get me handle around how they'll go against Inverleigh. I know they've played them, but that was really, really early. I just don't know if they've got the firepower to go with Inverleigh. But look, I think they can finish top 3. There's no doubt about that. I actually said at the start of the game to Shawnee O'Leary, they finished 5th the last time we played. We didn't think they would. And they've improved that, and they can get top 3. I'm not quite sure they're quite good enough to win the grand final or play in it, but they're going to be there. They're going to be a player because I just think this is a pretty decent-sized ground. They played it well today. I just think they've got a style similar to Belpo still back in their halcyon days that I think the ground may well suit them, and they're very, very evenly spread across the ground. So if you've got 1 or 2 or 3 players down, you've got 3 or 4 other players that can cover for them. And you saw today with Werribee, when they had 4 or 5, 6, 7 players down, they didn't have players all across the game to spread to cover for those blokes. I said it at 3/4. I thought it was a terrible performance to Werribee today. The only thing you can give them credit for is the fact that they played well enough in the last quarter to make sure they didn't get beat by 6, 7, 8 goals, which could have actually happened with that win. They knuckled down and they tried their best. They never gave up, and they only lost by, 4 goals, which is probably, when you look at how both teams played over 4 quarters, they were probably a little bit lucky not to get beaten. But I'm going to put that down to the way that they really had a go and kept going.
Was less, just over 3, Grub, so they've, as I said, the scoreboard probably has flattered them in the end because they've had 16 scoring shots to 17 scoring shots, so they've had the equal amount of opportunities to score just about, but they never looked like winning, though.
Well, my worry is from the 3, 4, 5, let's go 12, 15-minute mark of the first quarter, I don't think they were ever going to win the game. No. They didn't do enough with the win. They played all right to hold East a little bit in the second quarter. They didn't do enough again against it. East did, kicked a couple of early ones. And I just don't think there was ever a moment where I could have turned around and said, hey, game on here. I think East had their measure most of the day, and I reckon they took the foot off maybe not the foot off the pedal, maybe they were out of gas because of all the hard work that they did. They played into the wind exactly the way football was made. Short stuff, all right, they made a few blues in the first quarter, kicked a goal or 2, but they played it to perfection. The spot-on disposal of the footy into the forward line gave them a chance, where Werribee's disposal at both ends will bang it in and hope Johnson can take a mark, or the ball hits the ground and Wilson and the little blokes Boyd can pick it up and kick a goal. But it didn't happen because they came in like helicopter passes. They couldn't mark it, and when the ball hit the ground, the defence of East Geelong today was absolutely superb.
Yeah, at quarter time, when you think their scores are level at 1-2 each, kicking against the 5-goal Breeze, that was certainly the match-winning quarter for them. For the rest of the game, I think they probably didn't take advantage of the opportunities they had in their forward line. And I don't know how they might construct that with players that they might have to come back. But I'll tell you what, I agree with what Grubby said before. I think it's time for the East Geelong Footy Club to be telling young Hugh Menzies where he's playing and not asking him, because he looks a seriously good long-term footballer to me. Very, very talented and skillful. Doesn't waste an opportunity. and he might be someone who could be used a little bit better going forward. But yeah, they're certainly a serious contender. And effectively, Dale, from what we said after watching Thursday and Friday night AFL, you don't read too much into it. You wouldn't want to worry too much about it. You just get back on the bike, and it's how they come back against Inverleigh which will be more important.
Well, they'll need to do a little bit of searching this week during the week for sure, but it will be a difficult task for them to come down the highway and see what's happening. But I'm not too sure what's going to happen with it at this moment, because as I said, Grubs put the finger on it. They got away with one last week, got the 4 points, but as I said, today's loss plus another one next week, and I'm not too sure where they go the following week. I'm just trying to have a quick squeeze. Werribee
in the lead home.
Yeah, then they've got, after that though, they got Corio the week after at Corio, so they would think they would get back on track then. But so they can't afford to drop too many games, because as we all know, the last 2 rounds have been scrapped already, and we just don't need another outbreak like that to make it go any worse.
No, it's a very good point. We might take a little break back to you guys at the studio, clear a few sponsorship announcements, and we'll come back and see if we can find the Yards Hotel Player of the Day. It will be a very difficult assignment, and I reckon we might have 3 completely different looking voting sheets today. This is 94.
day, only on 94.7 The Pulse.
We are back. We had a little bit of a technological mishap, but we're back on track. East Geelong victors here at the Auswide Plumbing and Civil Oval. Pretty impressive. Go petered out in the second half. Not so pretty to watch, but we liked very much what we saw in the first half. It's time for some votes.
No, it's not.
For the best player on the ground.
We're going to do some final scores first.
Some scores.
Yeah, let's do some final scores first.
I don't know if they're final, but there's no closies, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had the close one.
So we had the close one. Inverleigh 10-14-74, North Geelong 4-8-32. Belpost Hill have come from the cloud. They were winning, but 18-16-124 have defeated Belmont 5-5-35. That's a huge victory. Thompson 17-19-111, Anarchy 5-6-36, so they've hung in there. Unfortunately, Corio 8-7-53 have been beaten easily in the finish by Bannockburn 17-9-1-1-1. And West 10-9-69, Winch 4-4-28.
Okay, so that'll help a couple of sides that were looking for some percentage. Thompson and Bannockburn and probably Belpost Hill as well. Although they're already around 200, that'll just keep them up around that. East Geelong would have lost a fair chunk of their 200 a day, but they're still in well in front of some key teams around them. Geelong West missed the chance to build theirs up a long way against Winch, but they've still doubled their score or slightly better. So all went pretty much to as people had expected. This one could have gone either way. East Geelong have prevailed. The Yards Hotel, great supporters of ours, they provide a dinner for two to the best player judged by this group of people every week, and I suppose I should start off by putting my miserable reputation on the line. I'm going to give one vote to Matt Miller from the Werribee Central's team. I thought after a slow first quarter he was very hard working across half-back and kept setting up opportunities for them going forward. I'm going to give 2 votes to Brent McGrath, playing as a half-forward, lead-up forward. He had heaps of the footy, took some really good marks, kicked a goal and set another one up. I thought he was a really good job. And I really, really loved the work of Michael Bolitho, number 41, a midfielder who was strong and tough all day, and I thought he was the best player on the ground.
Well, I'll go next because then Grub can make the decision. But I've given 1 vote to Michael Bolitho. I thought his game was pretty good also. Had a number of possessions around the contest and was pretty good every time we got it. I thought Sam Lowe, I think every time we come to East Geelong, Sam Lowe gets in my votes, and he's done it again today. He just continues to get possessions all over the ground. To be honest, I don't even actually know where he actually plays. I don't think he's an on-baller, but he just seems to keep popping up. And my best on ground today was John McIntyre. And I thought his game was sensational. His work in and out of traffic and to be so clean when he had the ball was excellent. So he gets my 3 votes.
Well, I gave 1 to Tyler Crennan. I think he had the ball 25 to 30 times. I nearly went 3 East Geelong players, but because the third one was so close down the line, it found an opening for Tyler. Otherwise, I'd have went 3 East players because there's about... And before I do the votes, the blokes that didn't get any of mine... Bolitho, the Hawes, Mars was fantastic early and good late. McIntyre, Nagawati was fantastic down back, and I thought Rich was good. Williams probably let himself down by getting sent off, but he was great early. But I gave 1 vote to Crennan. I gave 2 votes to O'Connell, who I don't know how many goals he kicked in the finish, but it must have been 3 or 4. And I thought easily the best on the ground was Lowe. He was good in the first quarter. I got it all marked down as I go. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Probably the only player to do that all day, so I gave 3 to Sam Lowe.
There you go. So it looks like Sam Lowe is our Yards Hotel player of the day here at East Geelong today. Good victory to the home side. It really sets their season up well now, and with Werribee having to front up next week against Inverleigh, they're quickly under a little bit of pressure. I'm loving this competition. I'm loving that everyone's really having a crack. Every game is now vitally important. There's no easy ones anymore. And I think Bannockburn even found out that today when they were down 6 goals to 1 or 2 against Corio. It's just a good competition to be in, and it's a pleasure to watch it, gentlemen, and thank you very much for your company this afternoon as well. It's a little bit chilly out here on the box on the wing, but we've got through it, and we'll go back to the studio now at 94.7 The Pulse. You blokes can go home, pour a sherry, sit in front of the fire, And,
Where we go next
a
week,
good
Rob?
movie.
Where we go next week?
Where do you want to go next week, gentlemen?
Well, I think there's only two games you can go to. I think it's Bannockburn and West, or Belpost Hill and Thompson for me. What do you reckon, Grub?
Well, after today's performance, I don't think we'll be going to Werribee. That was probably going to be the match of the day if Werribee win. It was going to be 9-0 against 8-1.
Yep.
But don't think that's going to happen now. We're not going to Bannockburn unless somebody can clear up their Wi-Fi problems, because people can't watch it on the YouTube. So if you decide to select to go to Bannockburn, you've got to find out whether we can go and whether the YouTube or whatever it is works.
It's a pretty vital game for both sides. Thompson, if they lose this game, they'll be 2 games and about 80% behind Belpost Hill with 6 to play. Awfully hard to make up. And Belpost Hill, if they're seriously thinking about top 3 now that both Werribee and, Bannockburn a bit shaky last week, but Werribee now today under pressure, they could be spying a top 3 position, so it'll be a vital game for them as well. So plenty to play for. I reckon that looks like a very worthy match. We haven't been out there. Oh, you were there in round 1, weren't you guys, out at Belpost Hill? But we've only seen them twice already this year. So
who's that?
Belpost Hill.
Okay, who do they play?
Thompson.
Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like the next best. If we're not going to Werribee and we're not going to Bannockburn,
not going to Werribee.
we're not going to Bannockburn for high fly.
Well, you got these games. You got Bannockburn West, Belpost Hill, Thompson. The Battle of the Highway, what do they call it here? The Battle of the Roundabout or Bridges or something? Yep. Belmont Lions and East Geelong. North Geelong Cry, I don't see that. Werribee Interlee or Winchelsea Anarchy.
Well, if we're going to go to venues, because it's tight, the trip up the highway to Winchell, we haven't been and probably won't get an opportunity again for the rest of the season. That's an opportunity as well.
If I was Neville Whitley sitting here,
yep,
that's where we'd be going. We have to see him.
Yep.
You got to see West, so you must do West and North Geelong the week after. But we've got to find out where we can go and what we can do there as well.
That's another thing we have to find out. Can you get the truck in? Can you use the press thing? We're not using that.
We don't know.
So, we'll work that out. But as I say, we have to see everybody.
Yep. Oh, I don't mind going Winch.
I do. But I don't go that far.
I'll tell you what you can do. Why don't you cut the trip up and have breakfast at the Great Western Hotel on the way?
We had that there this morning.
Well, I tell you what, I was going to say before
I'm not working next week, so I can't organise it.
Before you brought that up, I was going to say next week when we do the 3-2-1, that food at the Yards Hotel is so good. Next week I already know the 3 vote. Grubby-cations, because I'm going there for one of those magnificent feeds. But bringing that up, I went to the West. What do you call it?
Great Western.
The Great Western this morning for a breakfast on Smitty. There was 4 eggs, 4 sausages, a ton of bacon, and a couple of toasted rolls. It was as good a breakfast I've ever had in my life. So to the bloke that cooked that, what's his name?
Johnny
Morendez. Thanks very much, mate. It was magnificent.
Okay, Neville Whitley runs the show, and if he was here, he'd do what you just said. So that's what we'll do. We're going to Winch and to see them play a plucky Anarchy. And it'll be good to see those sides because we might not get another chance for the rest of the year. So well done, gentlemen, on your vision rather than your selfishness to go and watch the best game of footy. We'll go and share the love. Winchelsea versus Anarchy next week. It's been a pleasure to bring you today's game. It's been most enjoyable. And thank you all for listening. We'll catch up with you during the week. Don't forget 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. Front page. It's always an interesting listen. And also on Saturday morning, Grubby has now become the very important third wheel on the hashtag Giddy Up show on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock on 94.7 The Pulse.
Well, let's hope for not too long. Honestly, I want Stolky back. He's great on the radio. He's a great man. I want Stolky back. So if you're listening, Stolky, I hope you can come back. But if you can't, I'm happy to fill in for you until you're ready to go, mate.
That's good. 9 o'clock, 2 blokes chatting, one from Sydney, one from Geelong, which worked very well technologically this morning. The Geelong and District Sports Fix show
talk.
will be on at 11 o'clock. We spoke to Ben Bosley, coach of the East Geelong footy team this morning, and also Lauren Field, coach of the Inverleigh netball team. We'll get a couple more coaches on next week as well. Thank you again for listening in. Robert and Alan back in the studio, thank you for your support. Sorry about the little technical hitch before. We don't quite know what happened there. We'll
Probably
be
the
back
best part of the broadcast.
next week at 1:30 from the Eastern Reserve at Winchelsea. Thank you for your time. This has been 94.7 The Pulse, the home of country footy.
He stuffed it up again.